Wendy Bell Radio is live.
Who won that time? Eyes of Steel, baby.
Wow. Wow.
I'm like sitting here with toothpicks in my eye.
Yeah, I'm
like,
trying
I'm
trying to hold still, but I'm looking over to make sure that
I'm now
my
blind.
computer over here is working.
Hey, everybody. Good afternoon. How are you all? It's great to be here. Great to see you. I love that you're kind of getting into this AI stuff with some of the thumbnails. I think today's is, unless I had Gary Varvel every single day as my thumbnail, which, are you kidding me? I would do like last year. This is a great alternative because this is exactly what today is all about. And it's not just all about why don't they listen? It's not just our government. It's not just the media. You have this in your own life, right? Who are you trying to communicate with who's not listening to you? It's one of the most frustrating, defeating things ever, right?
I say every day, I should get a raise, and Wendy just ignores me.
I think that's why most younger people walk around with those stupid headsets on. You know, when was the last time you walked down your neighborhood street and somebody smiled at you and said hello? People don't do that in my neighborhood. It's
how many
bizarre.
times you say you're talking to somebody and then you're like, oh, you're on the phone.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. You're not actually hearing what I'm saying to you. I don't know. It's this thumbnail today. You just absolutely encapsulated how I feel. Wow, we're killing it. We have 1,500 people on Rumble. How you doing? We've got 37 over here on X. But you know what? That doesn't stop me.
So I'll
fight every day.
I have a question.
Wait, we're going to just totally trample that. Yeah. Okay, what?
So Brian Barber 777. If you want banned, why even come here?
What'd he say?
F Trumpstein, F Jews, ban me. What? Like, why even come? If that's what you're all about, like, whatever, dude. I'm assuming it's a dude. Probably drives a Subaru.
If we can all agree not to respond to people who are just having a bad day, that's fine. Whatever. So my heat went out yesterday. It was a super cold night, too. We had this beautiful day on Saturday. It was like 63 degrees. It was magnificent. It totally tricked my magnolia. I'm like, really? You're starting to bloom now? Which means they're all going to die and drop to the ground. I love that. Anywho, Sunday was way colder. And then, wouldn't you know, I wake up to do Weekends with Wendy with you. And I'm like, I had a blanket. I had socks. I had like a sweatshirt. I had the fireplace on. Murphy nearby. And then, of course, there's some part that's broken on our furnace, which is just fantastic. You take for granted comfort.
Well, would you say it was 63 and you have a fireplace?
But you think about it. You think about, you know, for 8 hours, I'm inconvenienced, or 24 hours, I'm cold. Right. And I'm like, God.
How would you survive in the wild?
Right? How would I survive Alaska, where I voyeuristically have a fantasy about being a survivalist? I'd be out in the middle of nowhere going, no. Or I'd be a total badass, because today I did 20 pull-ups underhand with my feet on Mary Beth's legs, but really only pushing a little bit and then grabbing myself. 10 twice. I have told more people about this. Bloodflow 7.
You said this morning, you're like, I made a sale this morning.
Bloodflow7.com. You guys, if there's nothing else you do today and you believe nothing else I say, believe me when I tell you, this changes your life. It sounds dippy. All right, hold on.
It's not the one you were going to do.
I know. I got all into it. Here we go. Wendy, this is from Gail from Kennewick, Washington. I've been taking Bloodflow 7 since last summer. It changed my life. Right? I'm 63 and now have more energy and ability to complete tasks than when I was 30. I started using REM sleep and got multiple people on it because it changed my life. But since taking Bloodflow 7, I haven't needed REM sleep Because how does she sleep, Rock?
Like a rock.
Rock, like a boulder.
Like a boulder.
There you go. It is absolutely the best thing I've ever used. And like you, I will never go without it. Thank you. Bloodflow7.com/Wendy. Don't doubt me. Change your life. Change your life. I'm doing freaking pull-ups. I have chicken arms. I'm doing pull-ups.
And I have to drive home with an ice pack for stretching.
On your huevos.
What's wrong with that?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome to your daily dose of facts to fight off the liberal gaslighting.
You can be in the middle of a hurricane.
You have sanctuary in the city of Chicago.
Or you can be on a calm day. North is still north. You could be in a thunderstorm.
I am angry. We are not going back. Not ever.
North is still north. People can yell at you.
The hell with the Supreme Court. We will defy them.
North is still north. It doesn't change fundamental things. And in this business, right is still right, even if you stand by yourself.
We don't get fooled again. No.
Live across the fruited plain and from sea to shining sea, we're converting the Marxist left 1 hour at a time on the Wendy Bell radio program.
Well, hello, America. Greetings to all of you across the beautiful fruited plain. Delighted and honored as always to sit before you here on the Wendy Bell radio program. Common sense, conservative values. I say it every day. It is not complicated, but it is at your fingertips. WendyBellRadio.com. Whole 3 hours is live streamed there and also on Rumble. Follow along, get our podcast. I'm just happy you're here. We're going to talk about some stuff today. Because I think one of the most desperate things we as human beings want is to be listened to be understood, to be heard, to be seen. And we live in a very odd time where it seems like there's not, by any means, enough of that going on. And I think what we have in this president is a very sharp focus. He wanted to neutralize evil before it could hurt your children or your grandchildren. And we're going to talk about that today because that is a powerful message. The media are talking about, did you have the power to do this or did you break the... Shh, sit down. Because we're going to talk about securing the world for our children. And that's the story today on the Wendy Bell radio program. Delighted you're here. Welcome home. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen. I want to speak directly to all of you parents and grandparents out there. Those of you who do not have children, you are a part of this conversation for sure. But I want to tell you something about having a child that completely changes your everything. I didn't like kids when I was a little girl. I was a lousy babysitter. I was good at picking up people's dirty kitchens and fluffing up their, couches and their pillows and whatnot. And kids were fine, but I found them, by and large, other people's children, I found menacing and annoying, and I really didn't care to be with them, to be honest. And I was pretty sure as I got older that I was not intended to have children. Was there something wrong with me? Was I defective? I don't know. I had some boyfriends, but they were in and out, nothing serious. Well, some serious, but nothing major. And it wasn't until I lived in St. Louis, Missouri, and I worked for the NBC station there. And I worked for a program that had me dealing often with children. And something happened. I was about 25, and I'd never felt it before. And there was this thing that happened with children and me. And I worked on a show called Show Me St. Louis. It was live every day at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And you wouldn't think that a 3 o'clock in the afternoon TV show that was all about great places to take your children, whether it was art exhibits or it was history museums or it was presentations or it was historical places in St. Louis to go and to tour and to enjoy together, you wouldn't really think. Like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, who would ever watch that show? Everybody watched that show. And I was one of the original cast members on it. And so every day I was tasked with going out and doing a story, and it was quite a hustle. We had to go out, we had to tell a creative, fun story, promoting something that you and your family can do, whether it's a restaurant, what have you. And it was blew up. We were on buses. Our cast of Show Me St. Louis was. It was crazy, right? Super, super successful because I think there was a hunger for natural, homegrown entertainment that didn't involve politics. It didn't have anything racy about it. It was celebrating a community and bringing people together to be like, hey, we're just like you are trying to raise our kids. Let's do it together. And it was great. And I would go out and I would tell stories. And elementary schools or what have you would come join me at whatever we were doing. And they'd be around me and little kids would crawl into my lap and they'd be all around me. And then I'd go out in public and they'd find me and they'd come to me and they'd give me hugs. And it was a thing. And I was absolutely destroyed forever. Kids. And something inside of me switched. I didn't know if I was ever going to have my own. But I began to understand that thing that happens in you. Every decision you make, financial, right? Physical, how you drive, what you eat, where you go, how you spend your money, how you save your money. Everything changes when you have a child. And I didn't realize that not only did I want children, I wanted a lot of them. And if God had been willing, I would have had a sixth. But that didn't work out. This thing going on in this world is about our children. It is about giving our children's children a chance to live the way we did. It wasn't perfect, but it was traditional. It felt safer. It felt more sane. It felt structured, but it felt free. We played outside. A lot of us had both parents working and we were latchkey kids and we had to come home and we had to manage things. And you know what? It worked. I want that for our children. I want that for my grandchildren that, God willing, I will have someday. And that is why every day I get up in the darkness of the early morning hours to scour what's going on. Because my destiny, my gift back to my children is to fight every single freaking day as hard as I can so that we can get it the way it needs to be. And this president feels that way, and his wife feels that way. Did you see Melania Trump presided over the United Nations Security Council meeting during these strikes on Iran? Iran is trying to kill civilians, children, men and women and grandparents. They don't care. Terror doesn't care. There's no humanity in terror. There can be some semblance of humanity in war, some kind of mercy. But there is no mercy with zealots, with people who feel the way they do about being so right in Iran. Melania Trump talking about children, saving them. Look, our border was flooded with young people who shouldn't have come here. And there should have been somebody to wave the flag and say, what are we doing? And I'm sure they were, but they were silenced. That wasn't the story. Media didn't want us talking about that. But those young people are here and they are being victimized, and that is not right. We can put all of our eggs in this story called Jeffrey Epstein, but we turn a blind eye to 500,000 other children. How about our children who disappear? Our children who are victimized by priests or by teachers or by Boy Scout leaders or what have you. It has to stop. Is it the one thing that we can agree on? It's not a Democrat thing. It doesn't have to be a conservative thing. It needs to be the right thing. It has to be the only thing. This country is nothing without a new generation coming up. And we're raising a generation of young people who don't feel the same way maybe you and I felt about starting a family. They don't feel like it's within reach. They feel like the deck is stacked against them, that there's no possible way. You know what, young men and women of America, let me tell you something. Your parents, just as way my husband and I sacrificed and saved. We had no idea what we were doing. We were scared to death. We didn't have a choice. Nobody's ready. Nobody has a plan. Nobody's plan works out. Nothing is perfect. What are you willing to fight for? What are you willing to sacrifice? What are you willing to do? Because you're going to inherit this country. And my job, just like this president's job, is to give you the safest, most secure, most loving place. We know how. But you shoulder the responsibility now too. And that bell is tolling. So please, know how much we love you. Know how much we work for you. Know how much we've sacrificed for you. And know that we would do it every single day of the week and 5 times on Sunday. But we've got to pass that torch. So you better get your running shoes on, because you have some catching up to do. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, the media seems not to listen much at all to what this Trump administration says. And I noticed that driving home yesterday. Marco Rubio, he's in the Capitol somewhere in a very noisy environment, answering about 12 minutes of media questions, 12 minutes. I'm going to play some of those for you in the next half hour, but let's open the door to this conversation. What happens when the people who are supposed to tell you what's going on don't care what's going on? They only want you to believe the narrative that they're pushing. You'll hear it for yourself. Coming up on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. And, in Melania's opening remarks, as she's leading this UN Security Council meeting, her opening remarks are to the fallen members of the military who've been killed in this exchange, this Operation Epic Fury, and to the children. And then she goes to the children and she says their bravery, blah, blah, blah. And that's not a blah, blah, blah. My heartfelt condolences to the families who have lost their heroes, who sacrificed their lives for freedom. Their bravery and dedication will always be remembered. You are in my thoughts, blah, blah, blah. Here's the thing. The U.S. stands with all of the children throughout the world. I hope soon peace will be yours. That's it. That's it. That's here. That's here every day for me. Watching the wheels of nonsense in Congress and these losers in the media, it's so frustrating. Because I'm like, we don't have time for this. We got to go rescue people. What are you doing? That's my sidebar story, and I'm sticking to it. All right, I want to talk to you guys about the wellness company, twc.health/Wendy. I love Dr. McCullough. I've had multiple conversations with him. He's a good doctor. He is an honest teller of truth when it comes to medicine. And they've got something called the Ultimate Spike Detox. It's designed to support your body's natural ability to break down spike proteins and support healthy circulation. A lot of people who got the jab, right, had problems with blood clotting. We've seen some of these post-mortem ideas of these sinuous snake-like clots, fibrous clots in the body. It's scary as hell if you've seen it, and I know you have, though we're not supposed to talk about it. Well, the wellness company doesn't just talk about it. They're here to fight it. And so they've created something, the Ultimate Spike Detox, that can help you break down these proteins. And because of that, reduce your risk of having these little mini clots, these mini stroke clots. Huge deal. twc.health/Wendy. Drop my name. You're going to get free shipping. You're going to get 10% off. And know that there is, let's see. No, that's perfect. This is not something that you get from Pfizer or Moderna either. I trust the wellness company, twc.health/Wendy. That freaking survival thing they got me. I could kill somebody with it just by going like, whack. It is solid. Something like it's $1,000, something like $1,200. And it's everything you could possibly need. I'll take 2 of those. It's perfect. How do you guys feel about freeze-dried steak? Brock, have you ever had it?
I have.
How do you like it? Not
I-
bad.
Tasted like steak. I mean, I had bits, so I used it in like a stir fry.
Oh, that's a good idea.
But you have to hydrate it.
Yeah. You got to give it some water, let it grow.
Let
Yeah, I might have some. We're going to. With me, because commonly I have no idea where I'm going with it. It comes from the heart, which is terrifying because I have no idea where that's going to lead us. But I really do believe that the overarching sentiment of why this whole involvement with Israel by our government against Iran, the overarching concept is we cannot have diabolical, volatile terrorists in this country or in this world. Right? These 2 things do not coexist. You living your life and having your herd, your family, and doing the best you can, right? And then having people who want to kill you. These 2 things do not go together. And this president said, look, we knew that Israel was going to strike. We knew that they had military operations planned. Hell, Benjamin Netanyahu had been in the Oval Office 7 times, right? When was the last time you got a head of state from another country in the Oval Office that frequently? And we knew what they were going to do. And we knew that if they were going to do that, Iran was going to retaliate, but they were going to fire on the United States of America. Our people in our bases around the world positioned to protect the rest of the planet from them, by the way. And so we decided to be proactive, not reactive, or even worse, inactive. We decided to join in the mission. And you know what happened today, ladies and gentlemen? Israel just struck the meeting in Tehran where what was left of Iran's leadership was gathering to choose their new leader. Think about it. They didn't learn their lesson the first time. This is what they did on Saturday, the United States, after we realized where the Ayatollah was and 48 of his main military and spiritual leaders, gone, eating breakfast. What did we just do today? We took out the remainders of those people, of those leaders. Are you kidding me? I want you to hear Tony DeCopel. So Tony DeCopel, as you know, is the new CBS News guy. He's the new whatever, David Muir of CBS News. I kind of like him. I want to give him a chance. I don't care because by and large, I don't watch. But when it's something sensitive like war, and you have a president who comes out unabashedly and unflappable. And he's like, this is what we needed to do to protect the world's children so that they don't grow up in some kind of legion of doom where nefarious actors are lurking who put them in danger and make them feel unsafe. Enough. Make no mistake, this is this president's legacy. It is peace through strength. Listen to how Tony DeCopel presented the story of the first several days of this military operation Epic Fury on Iran. And you decide, why do you think knives were out for this young new face before?
If you're looking for an origin point of this current war, don't look to the earliest hours of this Saturday. Look back to November 4th, 1979. That was the day Iranian revolutionaries stormed the U.S. Embassy in Tehran, capturing 52 Americans and parading them in blindfolds for the whole world to see.
A new and daring element was disclosed today in the Iran crisis, which has held world attention for 87
For the next 444 days, they were held captive, the tally kept nightly by Walter Cronkite. Finally, the hostages were released, but that wasn't the end of the story either. Far more bloodshed was to come. In 1983, 241 U.S. service members were killed in their barracks by an Iran-backed suicide bomber in Beirut. Americans can argue, and they are, over whether this is a war of necessity. But what's clear from the history is that the fuse of this explosion is 50 years long and has included the loss of thousands of American and Iranian lives. Every president since Carter has tried to end this conflict. In 2015, President Barack Obama announced a deal to stall Iran's nuclear ambitions, a deal that President Trump replaced with a campaign of maximum pressure and now military might.
Today, the United States military continues to carry out large-scale combat operations in Iran to eliminate the grave threats posed to America by this terrible terrorist regime.
That history is why the president's allies in Congress say he hasn't started a war with Iran. He is finishing one.
That wasn't on my card, you guys. I wasn't expecting to hear that from somebody in the quote unquote legacy news, giving you historical opinions, or rather facts, taking you back in time to what happened, showing you how prior presidents didn't have the will, the wherewithal, the huevos, what have you. They just didn't. President Trump does. And he makes no apologies. There is no member of the media who can finger wag. There is no foreign leader who can tell him he is wrong. In fact, President Netanyahu, or Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, 2 hours ago, I should say, called President Trump, said this: there has never been a president like Donald J. Trump. He brought America back to being the leader of the world. This isn't some ego play for everybody out there who believes this president is all about himself. The guy who doesn't take a salary, the person who gives money away as a private citizen to people on the side of the road whom he sees doing the right thing. The man who got behind so many black businesses when all of the banks in New York City shut their doors. The man who wants to find the world's children. The man who wants the theft of the American dollars to stop. The man who says to the world exactly what he thinks and says, don't doubt me, peace through strength, and we have the strength to guarantee peace. You're either with us or you're against us, and every single turn, Democrats are against him. There is not a thing he can do that they will applaud or support, which means, ladies and gentlemen, it is true. Their hatred of one man is greater than their love of this country. When we come back, Secretary of State Marco Rubio in 12 minutes proves to you the media simply have no interest in listening. They have interest in telling you. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. All right, are you ready, Brock? I'm so ready.
Oh boy.
I don't know. I'm super excited about this. All right, so I want to tell you about a company that I have been working with. Well, that I've been enjoying. I'm not working with, I haven't been. They sent me a bunch of their lotions and oils and said, give us a try. And so I used them from August all the way through the end of January, and I used them up. And I reached out to the owner of the company, and I'm like, first of all, I need more of your products. And second of all, I think my people will love this. I'm going to share with you this company. It's called Tulip Blooms. tulipblooms.shop. And I want to tell you specifically about this one particular product. It's called their velour massage oil. Okay. So you're thinking to yourself, I don't really get into massages. What are we doing here? I don't use it like that. They sent me this right at a beautiful time in Pittsburgh where the weather is terrible. My hands were cracked and bleeding. And after you're done doing the dishes, you've got like that kind of granular feeling on your skin because you've been using chemicals. I put a squirt of this in my hand, literally like that, and I rub it into dry cuticles and all over my jewelry and what have you. And I let it soak in for 5 minutes. And you know what? It's not greasy. I don't get fingerprints all over my computer. I'm not leaving marks all over the counter. But when I'm done, my fingers are fantastic. And there's healing stuff in here. Down the road, I'm just opening you up to this. All right. tulipblooms.shop/Wendy. These are phenomenal products made by a man and a woman. They have 3 young children. They do this, husband and wife, started at home in the kitchen, and then they grew and they needed an office, and then they grew a little bit more and they needed a second one. This is going to change your world. All right. Your hands, your feet, your elbows, non-greasy, fantastic. I will not go without this stuff. And I have used this line now for 6-7 months. tulipblooms.shop/Wendy. You're going to get a 10% off discount.
I told Kate about it.
I can't get enough because right now, when you go to the bathroom and you wash your hands and you get back to your desk and you're like, I feel like I need something. My hands are so done. What'd you say?
I told Kate about it, and immediately she went to the website.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, wow. She's like, is it organic? Like,
we'll get into it.
And I was like, I said, I don't know. Wendy loves it. She's like, it's the same price as what the stuff I use. I'm like,
and with 10% off, you get a nice discount. And I think that 10% is off everything they have. They have body lotion, body butter. They have
Didn't they have something for your
oils.
face?
Yes, all of this stuff for your face.
That's what she looked
that
at.
you don't break. They have one product. If you have like a red complexion, like super red, this calms. It's like a blue oil and you put it on, but you're not greasy afterwards, and it completely calms that. It's crazy. I'm starting small. I just want to tell you about this. So this is what it says. It's their velour massage oil. When you go to the website, tulipblooms.shop/Wendy, look under the tab that says soothe. Think about a massage soothing your muscles, right? Go under soothe, velour therapeutic oil, off the grid. Off the grid. Their castor soothe is also. Oh my God. I'm getting a package. We're getting a package. And by the way, this is going to be great I want you to try it because there's somebody in your life that you're like, I have no idea what to get so-and-so. This is for men or women. This is not a chick thing only, because I don't know about you, but Joe comes home from the hospital after washing his hands literally 100 times. And his hands are cracked and bleeding. And I took some and I rubbed it on his fingertips last night. And he's like, that's nice. Already not greasy.
Is this like anniversary/birthday present type stuff?
It would be something that would be great for Mother's Day. I would say even great for Father's Day, because dads like to have soft skin too. It is. You start to read about it a little bit and you're like, I like this company.
You were more excited about the packaging too. You said you liked the packaging.
It was so pretty. That's why you could give it as a gift. And I'm going to show you, because they're going to send me one of their packages and I'll open it. You can see it. But tulipblooms.com/Wendy, you're going to get that 10% off. And I'm telling you, I really like the owners. I really like the owners. They're just nice people. And they're super geeked about helping your skin and you feel good.
Didn't they outgrow their kitchen, you told me?
Yes, I just said that. They had to spill into an office and then get another one. But I think you're going to be delighted with the quality of this product. I am. I'm pissed that I had to bring it in and use it here. Am I going to take it home and bring it back so they're sending me another one? I'll give props.
The answer is yes, though. You will until.
I will.
What if someone steals it?
Shh.
Like
That's
me?
so rude. Anyway, I really think it was special.
I could re-gift that.
Didn't you guys love Tony DeCopel? He was just being factual. Thank you. I don't need your opinion. This isn't something new. They've been terrorizing people since 1979. Hey, you know what? We are inching ever closer. In fact, I have no idea how many over 7 million podcast downloads we have, but I'm going to say we are steadily marching ever closer to the 8 million podcast download mark. Wendy Bell Radio, wherever you get your favorite podcasts. Check us out and download us onto your phone. We so appreciate you being part of this family that we have. Okay. So yesterday I'm driving home from the show. And Fox News is on, I think it was Fox or CNBC. One of them, they're taking this this press conference. It's not even a press conference. It's like somebody snagged Marco Rubio before he was going in to talk to the Senate about where we are with this Operation Epic Fury. And he kind of gets dragged over and there's some microphones down. He's like, all right, let me take some questions. And in 12 minutes, that's all it is. And in 12 minutes, in 2.5 minutes, you kind of understand all you really need to know about. I'm not here to second guess this administration. I'm not in the Situation Room. I'm not getting briefed by the Secretary of War. I'm not in on these intelligence things. I'm not having Benjamin Netanyahu tell me about his plans. I don't have the foggiest notion. What I can do is I can listen to our leaders tell us what the motivation was, what the objective is, and give us progress, right? And this media, which is so baffling to me, they get caught up in this minutia or silly things that don't matter. Do we have any boots on the ground? And how many, if there are? How long do you think we're going to be there? Do you think they're going to be boots on the ground? Well, what do you think about blah, blah, blah? And it's sort of like, you know what? How about you shut up? And I'll tell you what's going on, okay? Because any question you have, I've already answered. You're going to hear that. It is dazzling when you start catching on to how little the media pay attention to what the people in this administration say. They are dispatched from their newsrooms or where have you, and they've got an objective, they've got an agenda, they've got a story, and what they need to... Come on, guys. I was a journalist for 30 years. I know the drill. And they go out and they don't go out with an open mind to listen, to hear what happened, to hear what's going on. They go out with their own story and they try to get an answer from somebody that fits neatly into whatever their puzzle is that they're going to present for their viewers or their readers of the day. That's not journalism. It's called narrative making. And this administration calls it out every single day. Today, you're going to be able to very quickly identify the patterns. All right. So here is Marco Rubio. It's a very loud hallway. I have no idea why this is the impromptu place to talk. Like people are coughing and banging doors and what have you, but you'll get the general gist. And this is where Marco Rubio says, look, Operation Epic Fury was preemptive. Our goal was to finally obliterate Iran's nuclear capability, which clearly they have hidden behind this monster missile-making operation that puts the whole planet in danger. That's what he says, and then he opens it up to questions. In his first soundbite, he goes, look, the strategy was threefold. We knew Israel was planning an attack. We knew that Iran would fire missiles at America, even if we had nothing to do with it as retaliation. And so we acted preemptively to neutralize the threat. Tell me when you've ever heard a Secretary of State sound like this, explain it rationally so that you make sense, because it's never happened before. Listen.
I don't understand what the confusion is. Let me explain it to you, and I'll do it once again as clearly as possible. Perhaps you'll report it that way. The United States is conducting an operation to eliminate the threat of Iran's short-range ballistic missiles and the threat posed by their Navy, particularly to naval assets. That is what it is focused on doing right now, and it's doing quite successfully. I'll leave it to the Pentagon and the Department of War to discuss the tactics behind that and the progress that's being made. That is the clear objective of this mission. The second question that's been asked is, why now? Well, there's two reasons why now. The first is it was abundantly clear that if Iran came under attack by anyone, the United States or Israel or anyone, they were going to respond against the United States. The orders had been delegated down to the field commanders. It was automatic, and in fact, it bared to be true, because in fact, within an hour of the initial attack on the leadership compound, the missile forces in the south and in the north, for that matter, had already been activated to launch. In fact, those had already been pre-positioned. The third is the assessment that was made that if we stood and waited for that attack to come first before we hit them, we would suffer much higher casualties. And so the president made the very wise decision. We knew that there was going to be an Israeli action. We knew that that would precipitate an attack against American forces. And we knew that if we didn't preemptively go after them before they launched those attacks, we would suffer higher casualties and perhaps even higher those killed. And then we would all be here answering questions about why we knew that and didn't act. Going back to the purpose. The purpose of this is to destroy that missile capability. Why does Iran want that ballistic missile capability? What they are trying to do and have been trying to do for a very long time is build a conventional weapons capability as a shield where they can hide behind it. Meaning, there would come a point where they have so many conventional missiles, so many drones, and it can inflict so much damage that no one can do anything about their nuclear program. That is what they were trying to do, is put themselves in a place of immunity where the damage they could inflict on the region would be so high that no one can do anything about their nuclear program or their nuclear ambitions.
That was 2 minutes and 8 seconds. Was that abundantly clear to you? Because it was abundantly clear to me. We want to stop their ability to make missiles. They're cranking them out like nobody's business. And a country as unstable as Iran, with an arsenal of missiles, can hide behind those missiles and make nuclear weapons. Because who's going to take them on? Right? That makes sense. And then he says, we knew Israel was locked and loaded. They already had their coordinates. Their missiles were ready to go. It was a matter of pushing the button. And so we had a decision to make. Either be struck after the fact or strike first. Any questions? Well, that's what I heard. Did you hear that too? I know you did. That is not what anybody there in that gaggle surrounding him is hearing. They're looking at, I've got a question to ask, and I'm going to ask my question. My question is about my story. My story is about anti-war, and I hate this president. We're going to do blah, blah, blah. And it's like, no, stop. I don't know why it's so hard for you guys to report what I'm telling you. Stop it with your opinions. I'm telling you what happened. Audio soundbite number 2. He says, look, Iran wasn't sitting around licking their wounds after we destroyed what we thought was their nuclear stockpile. They were a missile-making machine for a reason.
They are producing, by some estimates, over 100 of these missiles a month. Compare that to the 6 or 7 interceptors that can be built a month. They can build 100 of these a month, not to mention the thousands of one-way attack drones that they also have. They've been doing this for a very long time, and by the way, they've been doing it under sanction. You see the attacks they're conducting right now? They're attacking airports, they're attacking hotels, they're hitting not just military bases, they're attacking our embassies directly, they're attacking facilities that have nothing to do with war or with military, and that's a weakened Iran. That's in Iran despite years of sanction. Imagine a year from now, or a year and a half from now, the capabilities they would have to inflict damage on us. It's an unacceptable risk, especially in the hands of a regime that's run by radical clerics. The Ayatollah was a radical cleric. That entire regime is led by radical clerics who don't make geopolitical decisions. They make decisions on the basis of theology, their view of theology, which is an apocalyptic one. That has to be taken very seriously as well. So that was the purpose for what this operation is all about. That's what it's focused on. As the President said earlier today, it is on or ahead of schedule. I will defer to the Department of War to discuss the progress being made at a tactical level, but it was the right decision and an important decision for the safety and security of the world.
How do you feel about that? Because I feel pretty good. I feel like we have a based government. I feel that our objectives have been clear. I believe this administration has been abundant in its explanation to the world. Look, this is going to be peace through strength. And if you don't want peace, our strength will force it. Don't doubt us. And so he says, under sanctions, they were still making all of these weapons. Under sanctions, and they're killing civilians. Now, this is where the Secretary of State is asked if there was an imminent threat. Did you not hear what he just said to you? He just said they're making 100 missiles a week. Did you not hear that? And that our ability to destroy those missiles, we can make 6 of those a week or what have you. Did you see the discrepancy? Yes, the media aren't listening.
There absolutely was an imminent threat, and the imminent threat was that we knew that if Iran was attacked, and we believed they would be attacked, that they would immediately come after us. And we were not going to sit there and absorb a blow before we responded, because the Department of War assessed that if we did that, if we waited for them to hit us first after they were attacked, and by someone else, Israel attacked them, they hit us first, and we waited for them to hit us, we would suffer more casualties and more deaths. We went proactively in a defensive way to prevent them from inflicting higher damage. Had we not done so, there would have been hearings on Capitol Hill about how we knew that this was going to happen, and we didn't act preemptively to prevent more casualties and more loss of life.
What? Because of an impending Israeli action?
No, let me two things I would say. Number one is, no matter what, ultimately this operation needed to happen. That's the question of why now. But this operation needed to happen because Iran in about a year or a year and a half would cross the line of immunity, meaning they would have so many short-range missiles, so many drones, that no one could do anything about it because they could hold the whole world hostage. Look at the damage they're doing now. And this is a weakened Iran. Imagine a year from now. So that had to happen. Obviously, we were aware of Israeli intentions and understood what that would mean for us, and we had to be prepared to act as a result of it. But this had to happen no matter what.
Do you hear how he has to repeat himself? The media are not listening. Asked about regime change. Again, this isn't our goal. Our goal was clear. We hope the Iranian people can overthrow this regime and choose the leaders they want. But that's not what we were doing. We were taking out their missiles and we were responding preemptively because we know Israel was locked in on them. What more do I need to say to you? Listen.
Our mission and our focus is the destruction of their ballistic missile capabilities and their ability to manufacture them, as well as the threat posed by their Navy to global shipping. That's our objective. That said, we would not mind, we would not be heartbroken, and we hope that the Iranian people can overthrow this government and establish a new future for that country. We would love for that to be possible. But the objective of this mission is the destruction of their ballistic missile capabilities.
That was the fourth time. That was the fourth time he said it. They're still not listening. This is why when you turn on the evening news, the story is never the story. If your main communicators, the people who we're supposed to trust to tell us what the heck is going on, have no interest in the truth, but their goal is to hate and resist Trump and this administration, do you hear it? You see it, yes? Because it's about to get worse. The media, now we're going to ask him about the president possibly violating the War Powers Act. They have nothing. There's no, hey, congratulations. This is huge. Can you believe you did it? It's, well, what rules did you violate? Because we're very upset. Listen, choose who the media side they're on, right? Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. There's never any, hey, this is an amazing story. Did you hear about this? It's, oh my God. And even when it comes to the largest state sponsor of terror, you push the media and the Democrats to choose the state sponsor of terror as the people to support. You can't make it up. You can't make it up.
Media will.
Right? All right, so let me tell you. Hold on. So I'm going to be starting something here soon. How many of you guys have, like, we talk a lot about people who have significant weight to lose. And it happens, right? It happens. And there are a lot of different ways to lose weight, right? We talk about various shots you could get, pills you could take, supplements you could take, et cetera, et cetera. So what if you don't have a big amount of weight to lose? Maybe you have 10 pounds. Maybe you have 12 pounds. How many of you are in that boat with me? You want to lose 5 to 12 pounds. I'm going to be starting something, and I'm going to put it out here probably next week. A regimen that I'm doing, I'm going to see if it works first. And I think it is. And part of that regimen is drinking Dr. Gundry's The Healthy Fat. Look, one of the things that we need is to stay hydrated. I'm terrible at it because I always make excuses. Well, then I'll just have to go to the bathroom every 5 minutes. It's good for your system. It's good to flush yourself out, right? Well, if you're going to be drinking water, why wouldn't you put a scoop of Dr. Gundry's drink mix in it. This isn't just some drink mix. It isn't like Gatorade powder. This is something that Dr. Gundry used to lose significant weight. I don't have significant weight, but I could use a little help with my munchies. I could use a little help with my appetite, my cravings. So I drink this in here every day. Dr. Gundry's, thehealthyfat.com/Wendy. And it's good until I get to about 4:00 in the afternoon. Then you got to change strategies, right? And that's what I'm going to do. If you're interested in this, let me know. Give me a number one. Give me a number one here on the comments. In the interim, I don't know why you're not drinking thehealthyfat.com. It's loaded with things that you need. It's only 30 calories, and it does wonders for you during the workday, right? When you don't really have the ability to eat, but you're starving, not when you drink this. This is what it looks like, but you can get it by going to thehealthyfat.com/Wendy. It's one of my must-haves.
I'll be curious to see how it works out for you.
Yeah. I just told Brock this morning. I'm like, I'm going to do something. I'm already down 2 pounds. I'd like to lose 8. And people mock that. They're like, oh, wow, fatty. And I'm like, no, 8 pounds on somebody who's usually 117 pounds, but almost tipped 125. I've never been 125 pounds unless I was pregnant. So things happen. And even if you don't have tons of weight, it's good to pay attention to it and try to get back to where you feel good, right? Or you don't have spilling out of your pants. I had that. I put on a pair of pants the other day, and I couldn't
lay on the bed and button.
I couldn't close them. And Joe's like, the last time you wore those, you were on television. That was 10 years ago. And I'm like, so? And he's like, your body changes. And I'm like, no.
That's why I got you the wide seat. What? Just saying.
Thehealthyfat.com/Wendy. It's true.
If you don't want a wide seat, the healthy fat. That's the pitch.
The wide seat is merely because I don't want it creeping up my backside. It's a very uncomfortable feeling.
Okay.
You're going to love this stuff. tulipblooms.shop/Wendy. I'm going to give you a hit in the next break.
What are you, my dealer?
Yeah. Well, welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program. I think as important as it is to hear the Secretary of State outline the rationale behind the planning behind this mission to take down the Ayatollah and what seems like every single last figment of his hierarchy, of his military or religious structure there. It's as important to hear what that was as it is important to hear that the media don't give a crap. Whatever they can do to twist this so that it hurts President Trump or so that in some way it demeans this administration is exhausting. Can you imagine if these people just told the truth? Just for a day, where we could be. Can you imagine if the Democrats in Congress and the rhinos in the Senate could just knock it off and let this administration do what needs to be done for the next 3 years? Can you imagine how much further ahead we would be? And yet we've got to chew on all of these landmines almost. So here's a reporter asking Marco Rubio about violating the War Powers Act. Did the president violate the War Powers Act? Seriously, listen.
There's no law that requires the president to have done anything with regards to this. To begin with, no presidential administration has ever accepted the War Powers Act as constitutional. Not Republican presidents, not Democratic presidents. That said, we have followed the notification at 48 hours. We're here today. I've done more Gang of Eight briefings than I got in the 4 years that Biden was president and I was a member of the Gang of Eight. All of that said, we've complied with the law 100%. And we're going to continue to comply with it. We've done the notification, and we officially to Congress, but we did notify members of Congress. We just can't notify 535 people. That's not possible, but we did the Gang of Eight twice. I briefed them last week, and then I called them the night before the operation.
You schmucks in the media would stop trying to gotcha us, and you instead listened for a moment and realized what's at stake. And realized how decisive this commander-in-chief had to be to neutralize a threat to make your children safe. Shame on you, Gang of Eight consisting of 8 top congressional leaders, as you know, who received classified briefings on sensitive national security matters. It's amazing they were notified and somehow this didn't leak. That's wild. What about gas prices? That's one of the questions. What about gas prices? Yeah, oh no. Marco Rubio and Scott Bessent, Treasury Secretary, and Chris Wright, Energy Secretary, they're already on it. Really?
We knew that going in would be a factor, and so we have a program in place that will begin to be implemented by Secretary Wright, Secretary Bessent. We talked about it last night, again, about this program. We talked this morning, and starting tomorrow, you will see us rolling out those phases to try to mitigate against that. Obviously, markets are going to be reacting to news about what's happening. And again, a reminder, think about it, okay? This terroristic regime, led by radical clerics, has the ability, potentially, to shut off 20% of global energy. That's the kind of leverage they have because of their Navy. We're going to destroy their Navy. But there is a plan in place. We anticipated this could be an issue, and Secretary Wright and Bessent will begin to roll out those steps starting tomorrow to mitigate against the impact that could have.
And he's obviously alluding to the Strait of Hormuz, which we talked about yesterday. This very small 20-mile stretch of water where 20% of the world's oil supply traverses to get to the countries that need it. Iran wants to fiddle with that. Well, I can tell you, the Pentagon now confirms that the United States has, in fact, sunken all 11 Iranian military ships in the Gulf of Oman. So, good luck with that. And finally, Marco Rubio, Secretary of State. How long do you think this is going to take, says a member of the media. Really?
They're suffering a tremendous amount of damage. Honestly, again, I'm not going to give away the details of our tactical efforts, but the hardest hits are yet to come from the U.S. military. The next phase will be even more punishing on Iran than it is right now. Someone was screaming, how long will it take? I don't know how long it'll take. We have objectives. We will do this as long as it takes to achieve those objectives, and we will achieve those objectives. The world will be a safer place when we're done with this operation. All right? Thank you, guys.
The world will be a safer place with this operation. We're not going to tell you what's involved. We're not going to tell you if we have American troops on the ground. We're not going to tell you how long we think this could be. We're not going to tell you what time we're going to strike. We're not going to detail the weaponry. We're not going to do any of that. Why would we do that? And who are you? You loser, legacy, narrative writing schmucks who nobody subscribes to anymore and nobody rushes home at night to watch on television because of that precise behavior. How many times can I make it clear? If you would only report what I say, said the Secretary of State, this ought not be terribly confusing. We just did the world a favor. And each of you standing here trying to spread a different story, your children and grandchildren, one day down the road will learn the reason they are able to live freely from a non-nuclearized Iran. It was because of President Trump and this team of fighters. It's breathtaking to pay attention to what they do. But now you hear it. You won't unhear it. When we come back, hour number 2 of the Wendy Bell radio program, House Oversight releases videos of the Clintons. And boy, I'll tell you, they tell us 2 very important things. Next. These are all of my sponsors. These are all of my testimonials from my sponsors. Do you guys know how exciting that is for me?
When do I get my hit?
Oh, here, I'll come do it now.
I'm surprised she's sharing. She typically doesn't do that.
Now you gotta let it absorb for a couple minutes, okay?
So when can I do my hand?
Rub it together.
Oh, you said not a... Don't touch stuff. That's literally all I do all day is have to touch stuff, but don't touch stuff.
So yeah, you just want to give it a couple minutes to absorb, and then
it smells good.
So it's supposed to be for gliding. It's
For
supposed
what?
to be, it's massage oil. So it's meant to be so when somebody's hands are on your skin, there's not that like pulling or tugging on your skin. It glides. And so you'll notice your skin is very like silky almost. It's really lovely.
It helps
There's
with
not-
the cuticles because mine break.
100%. Just go like that on it. This is not what it's for. I told them when, I mean, they're like, it's massage oil. I'm like, no, it's not. It's phenomenal for your hands and feet. And it will make things softer. If you've got like one of those hard
It doesn't have a feminine
heels,
smell.
It does not. There are like botanicals and certain essential oils. Some of their products are meant to put you, ease you to sleep. Others are meant with citrus to wake you up.
Does that have like
it has a
cinnamon in it?
It has. There's a list of the ingredients. I'm not even getting into that yet because there's so much to talk about.
Almost smells like the bubble gum that came in the baseball card packages.
Oh, really? I don't get that. Let me tell you guys about the Simkovich Concussion Institute. Simkovich Concussion Institute. I've gotten look, Dr. Charles Simkovich, we are so very grateful to you and all those wonderful people in your office. Thank you for the work you have done to help our daughter. After 9 years of searching for answers, we found you. You will forever hold a special place in our hearts. Dr. Charles Simkovich, you will always mean so much to my family. He has always helped Grant with headaches and then helped my sister after an awful car accident. He is an angel from heaven. And this was the absolute best decision I've ever made to help with my concussion and subsequent headaches. I wholeheartedly recommend Dr. Charles Simkovich. Look, people drive in, they fly in for a week to stay in Pittsburgh so they can meet Dr. Simkovich and go through this treatment of his. And it's not just about easing symptoms, it's about eliminating them. And he like unlocks memories and people get their smell back and their vision improves and their calm resettles and their equilibrium seems back and their lives are good again. How many thousands and thousands of testimonials exist on his website? So there's no surgery. Go to the Simkovich Concussion Institute, 412-366-3700. These people know what they're doing. And they want to help you, and they will, because they do. 412-366-3700. It
How long
works.
will that last you?
Months.
I was gonna say,
Months.
just using it on your hands that little bit.
Months. There's a smaller one of Castor blend. It's a Castor Smooth. It's under that same Soothe category at tulipblooms.shop. /Wendy. And I used that for a long time. Their oils are just lovely and they're not greasy. And I'm like, thank you.
Coffee candle.
I'm just saying, I think you're very much going to enjoy this company. Their story. Do you know what the husband and wife do for stress relief? They have I think they have like a 7-year-old, a 2-year-old, and like a 6-month-old. So and this is their business that they do together. She's the mastermind of the formulations. He handles the marketing and the people who, use it and talk about it. I totally lost my train of thought.
Are they sending you the beard oil?
They are ballroom dancers. Isn't that neat? They do ballroom dancing together. He's like, it's pure, it's fun, it's exercise, it's rhythm, it's away from what we do, it's time together. I'm like, that's legendary. I have no rhythm, so I'm gonna say no to that. You should see me dance. It's ugly. I get sweaty because I don't care. But I thought that was really cute. I'm like, here's this young couple doing this business together, growing the American dream, bubbling out of their kitchen. Right? I
really like the smell.
Isn't it so just peaceful?
They got beard oil. They have beard oil.
It's lovely. What a great, and I don't normally buy these kinds of products, but when Kate said that some products are way more expensive than this, the 10% off is wonderful.
They have a beard elixir.
For something that's gonna last you. I've had this for a couple weeks now, and that's how much I've used. And I use it every day, multiple. I leave it in the kitchen next to the sink. So when I'm done with dishes, I'm like, one little peace out. You're welcome. I have been stupid excited about this.
I've been hearing
Stupid
about it for
excited.
6 months.
Right? So look, if we could lose 10 pounds together and feel better about our skin.
Can I put a request in for the beard elixir?
I don't know if Patrick and Ashley are paying attention to you right now.
Well,
I'll find out.
you should probably send them a text that says,
I'm
"Pay
always
attention."
your bitch. I don't understand how that works.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
See, the next thing we need
That
to bring back
escalated.
is Relief Band. That's one of those products. It's a little expensive to buy, but if you ever get motion sickness or queasy
That
or anything.
air filter thing you have?
Oh, the
Yeah.
EnviroCleanse.
Yes.
Joe's gone and gotten new filters for that. I'm telling you, we are negligibly sick. Almost never.
Yeah. No,
Jackass. Tomorrow I'm going to have SARS.
monkeypox.
But
Wendy Bell. Inspiring solutions to save America one show at a time. Are you ready to get on board?
You told us when it would be time to panic. Well, is it time to panic? Well, let me just tell you, folks, it's never going to be time to panic because we're never going to give up. We're not going to give up on America. America is worth it. America is worth fighting for. America is worth not giving up. And while we have that attitude of not giving up, we are constantly going to be searching, strategizing, coming up with ways to prevail. We've got the basics. We have millions and millions of Americans that are fed up, can't wait to do something about it. There will be a series of ideas that people come up with based on dealing with the fraud that we know we have to deal with. You're not alone. You're not a singular individual all by yourself out there trying to fight these people by yourself. There are 74 million plus and growing. We're not going to give up on America.
From sea to shining sea, 3 hours of bold truth and excellence. The Wendy Bell Radio Program.
welcome back. Hour number 2 of the Wendy Bell Radio Program is live. So the title of today's program is, Why Don't They Listen? Right? We walked through hour 1 talking about Secretary of State Rubio telling everybody very clearly, the members of the media, what's going on. This is what we're doing. And they're not listening. That's not what they're writing. None of their stories ended up like that. Right? How frustrating it has to be in this like minefield, like running through oatmeal. That is exactly what Democrats and rhinos and deep state serpents want. And it's so frustrating. Well, I want to tell you, and here's the flip side of it. Did you guys see any of the Hillary or Bill Clinton deposition stuff? Because I watched some of it, and I have to say that it's just disappointing. It makes me sad. It makes me sad. And it makes me reflect on who I was and what was important to me when I was in college voting for Bill Clinton, not once, but twice. Like, what was it? What was it? Because I was malleable. I was susceptible to it. I believed that a woman's right to abort her baby was more important than pretty much anything else. But you know what? I didn't really know anything else. How embarrassing. Paying attention to Bill Clinton, he looked awful. He looks like an old man. And I think sometimes they play like that because they want sympathy, not persecution. He looked terrible. His voice is awful. His skin is, of course, aged. and his hands were shaking, and his eyes were shifty. And I'm sorry, but not sorry. I don't believe someone who's lied to me before. Right? What do they say? That trust is the hardest thing to earn and the easiest thing to lose? Well, he lost that for me in 1992. Like, it's not even close. And so I'm listening to him. Epstein deposition videos show Bill Clinton shaking and furious Hillary pounding the table to storm off. I'm done with this. Now, I don't think that's necessarily a fair assessment of what she did. I think it was of, low class and against the rules for Lauren Boebert to snap a picture of Hillary Clinton during her New York deposition and then share it with a social media podcaster influencer who then put it out on his platform gleefully. I don't think that's what I was looking for either. But I don't think there's a question in the world either of these two is going to answer that I'm going to believe. So it seems so performative. How appropriate that you would be at the Chappaqua or whatever it's called, Center for Performing Arts. That's where this theatrical display took place. And I want to play for you a little bit of the audio, but I'm going to read to you. This is from the New York Post. Dramatic new footage of the Clinton depositions released by the powerful House Oversight Committee. Really? You guys feeling it super powerful? Are you feeling like we've gotten... This is the same House Oversight Committee that blew in Joe Biden, the Biden crime family syndicate. Right? We know that they got $30 million from China and Kazakhstan and Ukraine and Russia. That's at a minimum. We know they got cars and diamonds and other stuff. Like, yeah, you guys knew that at House Oversight. Well, how did that change anything? It didn't. The former Secretary of State got into an epic shouting match with MAGA firebrands during her sworn testimony last week while her husband, whose hands were shaking throughout his deposition. People do that. Their hands shake. They get old. His hands shook. Do I really think it's because he's afraid? No. The Clintons are untouchable. Nothing's going to happen to the Clintons. They're not going to be found guilty of anything. My greatest wish for these two clowns, I'm going to say they're evil. The things that I suspect that they have done. It goes far beyond Bill raping underage women, possibly. It's much worse than that. I want them forever to have that lingering, bitter, awful flavor in people's mouths. So that when you go back and our children grow up and learn about these people, they understand this is what we fought against. Let's get to some of the audio. I care less as I read the first paragraph of this New York Post story than I thought. I want you to hear Sky News with the best 3-minute synopsis of what was asked of the Clintons and what Bill and Hillary said.
We'd heard about the Clintons under questioning. Now we can see them.
We all were abiding by the same rules.
Did you engage in any sexual activity with this person?
Video has been released of Bill and Hillary being grilled by the House Oversight Committee. The former president was asked about photos in the Epstein files. He was pictured in a swimming pool with Ghislaine Maxwell, Epstein's co-accused.
We went out, I swam around, I sat in the hot tub for 5 minutes, or whatever it was, and I got up and went to bed.
One picture featured Bill Clinton in a jacuzzi alongside an unidentified woman.
But he's also asking in the pool area were there other individuals.
I don't know who that is.
I have to ask this, did you engage in any sexual activity with this person? Okay, thank you.
Bill Clinton denies all knowledge of Jeffrey Epstein's criminality. He was asked about Donald Trump and his relationship with Epstein.
The president never, this is 20-something years ago, never said anything to me to make me think he was involved in anything improper with regard to Epstein either.
Republicans on the committee claimed that exonerated Donald Trump. Some survivors of Jeffrey Epstein's abuse have called that notion an insult. They say the president has questions to answer. Donald Trump denies wrongdoing and knowledge of Jeffrey Epstein's criminal behavior. Inside the committee venue, a performing arts theater in Chappaqua, New York, it got heated when a Republican congresswoman took a photo of Hillary Clinton against the no pictures rule, and it ended up on X.
Oh, for heaven's
So I would like
sake.
to understand how that's permissible.
Before the hearing was. It doesn't matter. We all were abiding by the same rules.
I will take that down.
Yeah,
So
well.
I would like to take a break at this moment.
Yeah,
I'd like to have
I'm
a
done
conversation.
for now.
Go off the record. Go off the record.
The former First Lady and Secretary of State was asked about pictures of her husband contained in the Epstein files.
Is it any of these photos of your husband with women being massaged on the beach that concern you?
I have no context for even answering that question.
If that was awkward, it wasn't the only thing. Questions from Republican members of the committee veered towards Pizzagate, a notorious conspiracy theory in this country.
I can't believe you're even referencing it. You should be.
There are connections to the language.
Well, the QAnon people believe there are, so
I don't know what QAnon people believe.
Have at it.
Finding the truth about Epstein is about justice and accountability and politics.
What's interesting is she's asked about Pizzagate and she said, you should be. Now, if you're accused of basically, I don't know, something very disgusting involving children, and it comes up in a deposition and you're not guilty, there is an outrage that comes out. You should be ashamed of yourself. How could you even think something like that? That's disgusting. And I'm offended by your question. Hillary couldn't do that. I don't know. Guilty? No clue. Curious, however. I want you to hear, this is Bill Clinton, President Clinton, saying President Trump should not be involved in this, and he interjects that statement during the questioning to make sure the committee heard it. This was interesting.
I hate this, but because I don't believe I should inject anything. But I do not want to leave the impression, but since there was no follow-up question, the president never, this is 20-something years ago, never said anything to me to make me think he was involved in anything improper with regard to Epstein either. He just didn't. That's the truth. As I said earlier, the only conversation I had with President Trump about this was in the early 2000s. And I have no information that he did anything wrong. I just want it all out there. I want everybody to get it all out there and let everybody see where we are.
Do you really? I thought that was curious. And then he said this on who he thought the women were on board his 26 flights aboard the Lolita Express.
What did happen, Mr. President?
I don't know. I mean, I've already told you this. I'll tell again. I never saw anybody do anything wrong. I thought they were flight attendants.
Do flight attendants typically wear tank tops and jeans?
They don't all wear uniforms on private planes.
Yes, sir. Most are dressed probably pretty business class.
Isn't it just sad? I'm going to sit here and celebrate a former president being deposed because of his possible involvement raping underage girls with Jeffrey Epstein, his family's purported family vacations at his Zorro Ranch in New Mexico, the horrible things that swirl out there in the atmosphere. I don't know. All I can tell you is what a sad thing to pay attention to. And we're not even talking about Hillary yet. She's on the hot seat next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. I wish I could sit here and do that liberal, petty, making fun of. It's not funny. Watching him and realizing the gravity of the questions being asked isn't a joke. There's nobody who wins here. Nobody. And all of these people who harm other people who harm children, I hope it's sort of like prison. I hope God sitting there It's sort of like prison, that's like the lowest of the low. And so you get the down escalator. You're going down on this elevator, right? I don't know. It just doesn't seem worthy of mocking. It's so sad, right? It's just, there's a lot of depravity out there, and it's certainly hard to wrap your mind around it. I get it when people are like, I want to move to Montana and live on a farm. I'm like, 100%. Is there a never-ending flow of IPA? Then I'll go. All right, who do we want to talk about? Wait a minute. Wrong thing. Hold on. All right, let me tell you about Texas Bullion Exchange. WendyLovesGold.com. Let's go to the site right now and see how they're doing. WendyLovesGold.com. Okay. Let's see. Okay, gold is down $201, down to $5,100 even, pretty much. Silver down $5. Look, this is a really interesting time to consider precious metals. We're in the middle of this AI race, and it's all about energy. What kind of energy can be created? You need energy to create these systems. You need metals to create batteries, and silver and gold are precious, and their value is constantly going up. So I know a lot of you sit on money, and I know you have it. You have it either at home because you don't trust anybody, or you have it in the bank where it's earning no money for you, no interest for you. It's pathetic. Why not put your money to work for you and your future? Buy gold and silver. It's as easy as that. I did when gold was, I don't know, $4,000 an ounce, and silver was 33. And now look at where we are. And it's gained value, 700% value since we left the gold standard in 1971. That's a huge deal. 855-927-5557. WendyLovesGold.com. Now, WendyLovesGold.com is a great way to be like, hey, I so want one of your free investment guides. I need to learn a little bit about precious metals. Or you could say that and be like, call me, email me. I wouldn't want to email this stuff. I'd want to hear it. And they're so great to talk to. A woman had emailed me. She was a little concerned because her shipment wasn't arriving of gold and silver. And she was worried that maybe she had gotten taken. And I'm like, no. Did you get your tracking number? You'll get it'll. She texted me or she emailed me yesterday. She's like, oh my gosh, I got the box. And it's like Christmas morning. I'm like, I know. 855-927-5557. WendyLovesGold.com.
I can really tell how soft my hands are after washing them.
Can you?
Yes.
Wow. Do you want another hit?
No.
I know you do. It's okay.
You can feel like I'm not into skincare. Like I'm a dude.
I've never shown him any of this stuff. I've never shown him any of it, nor has he tried it.
Shared.
Well, I've never even shown you the bottle.
Shared.
tulipblooms.shop/Wendy. Welcome back to the Wendy Bell Radio program. How is it possible that I could almost feel sorry for Bill Clinton? Looking at him and then looking at Hillary and watching her and hearing what she says and imagining for a moment, can you imagine being married to that? Right? I don't mean to be rude. I think she's a dirtbag. I think they both are. But I'm just saying, can you imagine? That's what a loveless marriage, I guess, does to you. I don't know. He's guilty as sin of something, right? Well, I want you to hear what Hillary had to say. And she is the smoothest criminal. She really is. She's got him. He's got the personality. He's the guy who makes people feel good, like that oxygen gets sucked out of the room. And when you're with Bill Clinton, I've heard that discussed. And he's talking to you. It's like you're the only one on planet Earth. There's this weird thing that you experience. I'm like, I don't know about that. But I can tell you, Hillary is the mastermind of this operation. She is unflappable. She is quite unflinchable. But I got to tell you, you got to watch the eyes, right? When you ask somebody a pointed question and they start looking around and avoiding eye contact with you, what does it say to you? That they're lying, that they're uncomfortable, they don't want to look at you. There's a reason for that. And you know, I have to, let's play this. Hillary's mask drops as Nancy Mace asks her about Howard Lutnick, because according to emails in these Jeffrey Epstein files, Lutnick actually hosted Hillary Clinton at his office at Cantor Fitzgerald, and Epstein was invited. He was apparently asked to give money. Listen.
How do you know Howard Lutnick? I know Howard Lutnick because when I was senator on 9/11, the firm he headed, Cantor Fitzgerald, suffered the greatest loss of life. As I recall, something like 650 of his employees were murdered by terrorists that day. Howard Lutnick missed being a victim because he was delayed dropping his child off to kindergarten. You asked the question. I'm going to answer your question.
Now you're going to yell
This
at
was
me?
what I spent
You're
my
going to yell at
time
me.
doing.
I'm a survivor trying to look out for other
Well,
survivors trying to
and
get to the
I
bottom
was
of it.
taking care
You
of
waited
the
6
people
months
who
to
lost
get here today.
3,000
6 months,
lives
and now you're being
at World
defiant
Trade
and
Center.
indignant today.
You asked me
I have
about
met
Howard
with Epstein
Lutnick.
survivors. I'm a survivor myself. You have emails. You've denied that Jeffrey Epstein, that you tried to get Jeffrey Epstein to give money to you.
I did not.
Howard Lutnick was
If
used
you
to
have an
get
email
money.
with me asking Jeffrey Epstein
I have
for
an
money,
email from Howard Lutnick sending it to
what's
Jeffrey
the
Epstein and his people to
I
raise
don't-
money for
I don't
you
know about-
for an event, an intimate event for you at his offices
Well,
at Cantor Fitzgerald. You're
look,
going to sit
if
here
you-
today
if you would
and,
let me
and,
finish.
and obfuscate and say to this committee, you didn't try to get money from Jeffrey
I didn't.
Epstein when
I
there was
didn't.
an intimate event in an email that Howard Lutnick emailed to Epstein's people and Epstein to get him to come to your intimate event at Cantor Fitzgerald, a very small event. And so I'm not going to put it. You want to yell at me, that's fine, but I'll yell right back.
Well,
okay? I am looking out for
it's
survivors.
very-
I'm doing
look.
the job that you would not do and refuse to do as Secretary of State. Thank you, and I yield back to
No,
Congresswoman.
I'm not a fan of the exchange, but I get it. What took you so long, Hillary? We asked you to come in. I don't know if we have time for the second one. Brock, let's try to get this in. This is Hillary. Why she never confronted Bill about the photos of him with young women.
I'll give you an example. If I saw a picture with my wife, it's just really hard to be relevant. If my wife saw pictures with me as a grown man, hanging out with obviously or close to underage women, regardless if it was before we were married or not, it would be a question. And so what I'm asking you is, did any questions regarding those photographs come to your mind?
I am going to, just as clearly as I can state, say I don't see the relevance of your question, and I am not going to talk about conversations that I had with my family, especially my husband.
Did you ever ask him, what's this picture? Who's this blonde woman? Why are you sitting with Virginia Giuffre sitting on the arm of the Lolita Express? And who are you swimming with? What were you doing? No, I didn't really think it was relevant. I'm sure he was just going on some philanthropic trip. Had no idea, never saw anything. Had I known, I would have blown him in. Right. So you decide what you believe. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, you know, negotiations with Iran didn't even last an hour. There's Steve Witkoff, special envoy, kind of describing some inside baseball about what it was like to sit at the table before the bombs started. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. I'm going to run to the bathroom. I'll be right back.
Let's all be honest. We all understand Bill. I mean, you don't even have to be a guy. Can you imagine going home to her every night? Bruh. And all they're going to do is lie. And that's the worst part. Like, I think if you're like me, you're just tired of all the hearings. Like, they're fun. They're fun to watch because you want to hear the one-liners. But you know you're not going to get the I don't recall. You're going to get the I recall, don't recall. Bill, I did nothing wrong. At one point in his deposition, he said, someone literally asked him, have you ever lied under oath? And he said, no. Well, we all know you lied. I did not have sexual relations with that woman. So you lied about the lie. They don't understand that. If, like I said, Bill could have taken all the oxygen out of the room and be like, have you seen my wife? Hillary, you're going to see her tomorrow. You wonder why I'm partying with other ladies? And then to lie about the lie that you were impeached for, or they tried to impeach you for. I think he was impeached for it. Was he impeached for it? It's the just blatant in your face. I don't care what you think. I'm going to lie anyways and get away with it. I know I'm going to get away with it. You know I'm going to get away with it. That's what pisses people off.
I agree. 100%. All right, let me tell you about this product. And we're getting it because I think one of my kids, I think Jack did take it. Maybe not. But, this is starting to flicker. I want to tell you guys about a product from our friends at Blood Flow 7. They're getting so much feedback from you, and it's really wonderful to me, and I'm super grateful. Thank you so very much. But the GLP-1, and I'm going to get a bottle of it, should be soon, and I'm going to bring it in. I'm going to show you what it looks like, okay? GLP-1 is an interesting product in that it is that hormone that basically tells your body that you're done eating. You don't need to eat anymore. And some people have problems with that. It doesn't work. It's not firing on all cylinders. And so in a very natural way, Blood Flow 7 created this formula, the GLP-1 Gold, which assists you in a way, sort of like the shots do, but in a nutraceutical, better way for you because there's not drugs in it. And this particular product allows that hormone to start firing again so you feel naturally fuller faster, and it kills your cravings throughout the day. This is for people, again, these are different kinds of echelons because people who have significant weight to lose, this is something that is really for you from Blood Flow 7. And I trust Blood Flow 7 100% by Juvenon, right? But I don't need to lose 50, 60, 70 pounds, which is why I'm coming up with my own strategy. GLP-1 Gold. Go to bloodflow7.com/Wendy, and you're going to get 30% off. Wendy 30. You're going to save. It's a great discount. Most people don't give discounts like that. That's a great discount. Bloodflow7.com/Wendy. The GLP-1 Gold. Love it. I'm not taking it, honestly, but if you've got a few more pounds to lose than I do, something to think about. See, you want more of it, don't you?
It's nice. I can honestly say my hands have not been this soft. In the wintertime, my cuticles crack.
100%. Which is why I was like, massage oil, chasmage oil. I want them as my moisturizer at the sink.
I can't stop wringing my hands.
Do you want another hit?
No,
you do.
worry. Don't worry about me.
I'm going to put it on my chest so you can see it's kind of glistening. All right. Watch it absorb. I'm doing real life experiments for you guys. Tulipblooms.shop/Wendy. I'm geeked out about it. I think it's going to be wonderful. I think it's a great campaign. Their products are lovely. We're going to talk about different items, different weeks. And I've not used all of them, but I've used quite a few of them. All right, that's way too much. All right. You know what I want to get? I want to get a tooth whitener. We should get a sponsor that does that.
Oh,
don't you
another
think?
thing you won't share.
Oh, please.
I
have a son who's going to be a dentist or an orthodontist. So. Welcome back to the Wendy Bell Radio program, my friends. You know, this is not a very stacked segment in terms of sound or news that I pulled from other sources, but I did want to have a conversation with you about this almost brazen audacity among people who don't know what they don't know, talking about things they think they know that they don't know. And it's super annoying, you know? That made perfect sense to me. And I know it did to you. I'm tired of, it's very frustrating. I know a little bit about a lot of stuff. I do not know a lot of stuff about a lot of stuff, but I know what interests me, and I know what makes me feel uneasy, and I know what makes me almost cry, those stories of just plain goodness, right? Where you have a little moment, a respite in your day from the barrage of bad news. And I believe that I make pretty good decisions when it comes to whom I trust. And I don't trust many people. And they want you to forget and memory hole where you've been, what you've been through. I sometimes wonder how it takes so very little, apparently, to get so many people in on doing things that are wrong. I mean, think about that virus. Think about what they unleashed on us. This isn't just a couple people who are like, hey, let's go fiddle with this virus. Let's go see if we can make something that kills a lot of people. There are a lot of people who had to be in on that. There were a lot of people who had to know. There were a lot of people who didn't say anything. I don't understand that. Like, if you're at the border and you see children coming across the border with people who you know are not their parents, how do you go home at night and just say, well, all right, good luck? I don't know. I don't understand it. But this whole idea of preemptive striking is foreign to us. Well, we haven't been part of something that's been proactive in years. We've had a lot of world leaders that or a lot of nationwide leaders that like to strut around and act like they know what they're doing. But when it actually came down to it, to making the decisions, to putting it all on the line, to taking incoming from everybody under the world because you're the one person who's like, no, we're not going to do this anymore. No, this is not the future of this country. No, this is not the destiny for my grandchildren. No, we haven't had that. It's so easy to be like, Steve Witkoff said something, and it's an audio soundbite. You know, we sit here and we're like, well, do we really have to go to war with Iran? I mean, it sounds like people are dying all over the place. It sounds so, oh my gosh. No, shh. This president sent Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner to negotiate with the top leaders of that country, to get together and be like, you know what? This can stop. We can get along. You can do a lot of what you want to do, but never get a nuclear weapon ever. And that was never going to be an agreement that Iran was going to come to. And so they sit down at a table. I have no idea where they are. I'm paying attention to Steve Witkoff tell this story on TV last night. And I don't know if it was Fox or whomever, but they cut away and it's Witkoff sitting down with obviously his Iranian counterpart to see if we can do something to communicate so these tensions between our countries can be figured out. Well, the reality is we didn't get all of their uranium. The reality is we didn't pulverize their nuclear capabilities. The reality is, while we might have destroyed something, with a phenomenal operation, the likes of which I'm not so sure you and I, save Luke Skywalker, could fathom. We didn't get it all. In fact, we didn't even come close, judging by what Marco Rubio was saying yesterday, that every single day, the Iranians work to put together more of these missiles. They have drones, thousands and thousands of deadly drones that can drop bombs on people all over the place. And they're one way. So the minute they drop, it's like, okay. It's like Maxwell Smart or Mission Impossible, right? This message will self-destruct in 30 seconds. It's like, poof, gone. Bomb a church, bomb a school, bomb a hospital, bomb a marketplace. And they were hiding behind that arsenal and that ability to make those weapons with that speed to create their nuclear program, to be 60% enriched. There's no civil need. There's no energy need to be 60% enriched uranium, unless you're making a nuclear warhead. And unless your religious, zealotry allows you to think beyond, right? Shaking the hand of a guy across from you and saying, yeah, we understand why you're here, while simultaneously you're in the back making the elixir. Here's Steve Witkoff, because he said, we knew in no time, on day number 1, that this was not a regime that was willing to negotiate. This was not a regime that was going to give anything up. They wished to do nothing to cooperate, and they violated all of our sanctions. They weren't supposed to be doing this, and they're doing it anyway. Who's surprised by this? We weren't. Here's Special Envoy Steve Witkoff.
90% materials, Sean, can be brought to 90%. That's weapons grade, in roughly 1 week, maybe 10 days at the outside. The 20% can be brought to weapons grade inside of 3 to 4 weeks. And let me say this, because I forgot this small little detail. In that first meeting, both the Iranian negotiators said to us directly, with no shame, that they controlled 460 kilograms of 60%, and they're aware that that could make 11 nuclear bombs, and that was the beginning of their negotiating stance. So they were proud of it. They were proud that they had evaded all sorts of oversight protocols to get to a place where they could deliver 11 nuclear bombs.
And in that lunch meeting with Jared Kushner to my right, before we even got to the freaking salad, we knew this wasn't going to happen. There was going to be no diplomacy. Now, the same media that told you January 6th was an insurrection, that the people who showed up that day had the will to overthrow the government, that they wanted to storm the castle, that Donald Trump that day ginned them up and encouraged them to go do it, finish the job, get it done. Those are the people who are trying to tell you that we didn't have to do this with Iran. And it's going to be a war. And they never went to Congress. And they broke all of these, these rules. Have you not had enough? What's it going to take for all of those lies to stop? Well, Mark Halperin used to be a journalist. I guess you could still say he is. He's a political commentator. He has his own podcast. And for whatever reason, he happened to go to Mar-a-Lago and meet with President Trump for a period of time. And he did something amazing. He listened to what the president said. He didn't interject and say, well, what about this and what about that and what's the timeline and what's the... He's like, tell me, Mr. President, so I can understand what our mission here is. So maybe I can help people who pay attention to me understand it. And this was his walk away. Mark Halperin saying, I spoke with the president. I heard what he says. And he says, I understand what this administration is doing on Iran. It is not complicated. It is peace through strength.
Okay. If I leave you with no other thought from this hour we spent together, Donald Trump is doing this, I'm quite certain, because he doesn't want to have the Iranian threat, terror, ballistic missiles, nuclear. He doesn't want to have it around on his watch. He didn't stop it on his first term. And he watched all of his predecessors do basically nothing effective to stop Iran. That is why Donald Trump is doing this. I am quite certain. Now, you may not like the fact that he didn't consult with Congress. You may not like the fact that it was a war of choice. You may question the timing. You may question some of the tactics. But I think you'd be making a mistake if you questioned what he's trying to do here, okay? What he's trying to do is not end his presidency with Iran as a threat to the world, to Israel, to the Middle East, to the United States, okay? I'm quite confident that that's true.
What he's trying to do is make the world safe for your children and your grandchildren and his as well. He has said that. It is his legacy. That is my mission. I will not waffle. I will not waver. That is the deal. And it is called peace through strength. Now, if you follow the White House, and it's interesting because I don't remember the last time President Trump lied to me, right? I think the last time I was annoyed was when they said they got all of the uranium, all the nuclear capabilities in that strike last year. Well, obviously we did not, right? Aside from that, what are you upset about? 74 times that President Trump has made clear that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. I mean, think about what's at stake here. You have a president who wants to buy Greenland or acquire Greenland and Canada to put these countries strategically under a defense shield where an anti-missile defense system, the likes of which nobody has ever seen, will fight off attacks on any of us in our Western Hemisphere. And they mock him. They laugh at him. Canada being the 51st state. What's there to laugh about? I want to protect you. I want you to be safe. 74 times that Trump has said no nuclear weapon. We can't allow Iran to go nuclear. 2011. We can't let Iran get a nuclear weapon. We can't do it. Can't do it. We cannot let that happen. 2015. Iran cannot have nuclear weapons. 2019. Iran will never have a nuclear weapon. 2020. I'll give you about 8 because I think 74 would be a little overkill, but you catch my drift. You cannot let Iran have a nuclear weapon. You cannot let it happen because bad things will happen if that happens. 2023. No nuclear weapons. This is all his playbook. He has been abundantly clear. And with an Iran, a nuclear Iran, a boastful, braggadocious, macho Iran, developing these programs, and the media want to know, do you really need to do that? Yeah. The answer is yes. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, my friends, in a surprising twist, President Trump has accepted an invitation from the media, no less. Say what? Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. It just isn't complicated to me. All right, let's see how we're doing. See? It's like glistening without being greasy. Do you want another hit? You do. You washed your hands. You want another hit? I know you do.
I did not ask for another hit.
I didn't ask for one.
Is that what you just said? Yes, I know you, schmuck.
That's a lot.
Okay, so rub it on your face.
That's why I'm waiting for the beard stuff. I like the smell.
Just give it a little
It's
time.
got like a spearminty smell.
It's just lovely. Lovely. And there's certain
Stop
things.
talking about it because
Okay.
Kate's going to be like, I want some.
She's got money.
Yeah. Spend your own money, Kate.
Wow.
Wow.
Well, I have to, so why shouldn't she? Just kidding. Just kidding.
Well, you know.
I love it. I cannot wait. I see already 12 of you have bought that. I can see that 12 of you have already gone for this.
It has to be cheaper than sending somebody to the spa.
I cannot imagine your responses. WendyBellRadio@gmail.com. All right, I want to talk to you about ghost bed, all right? Look, can you imagine you take a shower or you're getting ready for bed. You wash your face, you brush your teeth, right? You put some of this on, rub it on. You climb into bed, and your bed is the most luxurious thing ever. It's firm, but it's got a little bit of a squish to the top so that when you sleep on your side, it's comfortable. If you sleep on your back, it's great. But if you sleep on your stomach, you're not doing one of these, where you're in a canoe and you're like, oh, you wake up and your back hurts. You sleep well. You don't overheat, right? No tossing and turning. Jack has been sleeping on it, so I'd love to be able to tell you if he still snores. I don't know if he does or not, but I can tell you being on it is a life changer because it's restful sleep at a reasonable price with a company that's got great customer service. Ghost Beds. Ghost Bed? Let me make sure because I don't want to give that the wrong. Ghost Bed. Ghostbed.com. Promo code Wendy. Ghost Bed. I'm going to make sure I make that abundantly clear. Here we go. If you thought that a mattress was just furniture, it's not. It is where you get a third of your life spent. And it's the third of your life that allows you to regenerate and get going for the rest of your life. And if you don't have good quality restful sleep, you are already waking up against the 8 ball. This is where Ghost Bed comes into play because they engineered a deep sleeping system. These beds are serious health equipment. They're designed for relief and recovery, not for looks, not for fluff. Your body should be healing while you sleep, not fighting for comfort. So if you're waking up stiff, tossing and turning, sleeping hot, even reaching for a pain reliever before bed, because you know how it's going to be, go to ghostbed.com/Wendy. Use my code Wendy. You're going to get 10% off 101 nights. 101 nights sleep guarantee, sleep promise. Sleep on it for 3 months. And if you don't love it, send it back. They'll get it for you. Ghostbed.com/Wendy.
People are saying my man card is in jeopardy because I have the soft hands.
Everybody likes.
Yeah, like
men love looking good and feeling good, right?
Yeah.
How much different did you feel when you lost all that weight? It's a game changer. Your life changes.
I want
Everything.
my hands to be soft for I'm touching the ladies. Hey.
Welcome back to the Wendy Bell Radio program. So this is kind of curious. I don't know how I feel about this. Why don't you guys tell me here on the live video stream, wendybellradio.com. We usually get like 8,000 comments a day, so I love hearing what you guys have to say. Here's the headline. New York Post. Trump will attend White House Correspondents' Dinner in stunning twist. Right? There's this undeniable adversarial relationship. And you're going to hear Pete Hegseth, Secretary of War, coming up in just a bit, which I think is super interesting because if there was an example of an administration putting its foot down and saying, look, media, who thinks they own the place, sit down because you don't. You're here to convey the story of what we are doing as an administration to the rest of the American people. And you have failed miserably in your efforts. And so you are going to be required to sign this form that says, I will not go here or there in the Pentagon without an escort. Do you know who we are? Yeah, we do. You're media hacks. And that changes. We're going to talk a little bit more about that because it's been a while. President Trump stunned Washington insiders yesterday by announcing that he will, in fact, attend this year's White House Correspondents' Dinner on April 25th after snubbing journalists and skipping all prior dinners during his presidency. I wonder what changed. The White House Correspondents Association has asked me very nicely to be the honoree at this year's dinner, a long and storied tradition since I began in 1924, under then President Calvin Coolidge, Trump wrote on Truth Social. In honor of our nation's 250th birthday and the fact that these correspondents which he puts in quotes. Isn't it legendary? If you don't follow him, what are you doing? You have to follow him because he tells you everything that's going on. The fact that these correspondents now admit that I truly am one of the greatest presidents in the history of our country, the GOAT. According to many, it will be my honor to accept their invitation and work to make it the greatest, hottest, and most spectacular dinner of any kind ever. He trolls them, but then also adds the Trump flair, which is to make any event a success. It's hilarious. Trump added, because the press was extraordinarily bad to me, fake news all. Right from the beginning of my first term, I boycotted the event, never went as an honoree. However, I look forward to being with everyone this year. Hopefully, it will be something very special. You have a president, and I don't know how they do that. How do you be lied about, be vilified, be ridiculed, be mocked, have your family torn apart, your businesses lied about as well? How do you barely miss an assassination or 2 or 4, as we're hearing now, about Iran trying to take him out twice as well? How do you brush that off and look at the people who hate you, who wish to destroy you, who would celebrate if something horrible happened to you, even though you would not? How do you look at them and say, I think we're going to give it a go? You do that because you love America, and her 250th birthday is this year. I believe that is why this president is cooperating with them. Stop with the fake news. Stop not listening to my cabinet, not listening to me. Come, enjoy an evening, spend some time talking to me, and maybe you'll change your mind and be fair. This is what this administration is up against. In addition, of course, to cleaning up all of the garbage left behind by Barack Obama through his shell weekend at Bernie's Joe Biden. This president has to clean it up, make the world safe, be above all rebuke, and always take the high road. It must be exhausting, and yet still he had time at some point last week to give Mark Halperin an hour of his time. How does he do it? Joe Biden was on vacation for 40% of his presidency, ladies and gentlemen. It's because he was not aware. He was not there. And they tried to hide him from you. And the whole country went to hell in a handbasket. Hour number 3 of this program is going to be very interesting. Oh, by the way, when is this correspondence dinner? We said April. What's going to happen? Well, if I know President Trump, he will take shots at the media and the fake news, and yet he will open the door underneath the big tent. He will invite him into the proverbial ballroom and say, this is yours too. Remember, we're supposed to be a country. Hour 3 of the Wendy Bell radio program coming up right after this short timeout. Resisting President Trump, resisting everything that he does. It's got to be examined as a legitimate mental disorder. And I'm not talking about this in some silly, throwaway way. I'm saying seriously, it's got to be studied. And I'll explain why next. Healthy Cell. Okay, so this regimen I'm going to put together, I already do, but I'm going to do for a week before I launch this with you guys, probably. And one of the things that I take with Healthy Cell, beyond the focus and recall, it's the joint health and mobility. Over the age of 40, the lubrication of joints, stiffening accelerates, and you begin to feel as though you are older than you are, and it's terrible. And so Healthy Cell created a formula This is what the box looks like: joint health and mobility. Look, if we're going to agree, all right, we're going to eat better, we're going to do things in moderation, we're going to start walking more, getting some exercise, we're going to take care of our joints, all right, with healthycell.com/Wendy. We're going to maybe get some collagen peptides in our system. We're going to drink some MCT Wellness, maybe introduce a different drink in there, maybe bring one back that I'm still enjoying. And we're going to put together this regimen where we're going to lose 7 to 12 pounds. This is going to be part of it. Joint health and mobility, healthycell.com. Get nutrients into your body. They call them adaptogens, nutraceuticals, things that happen in nature, not in a lab, that work in concert to solve problems in your body, to help you monitor your blood or keep your blood sugar in check. To what else? Heart and vascular health, REM sleep, immune super boost, calm mood. These are all formulations of things that you can take so that you don't have to take a prescription. This is one of the best. You can tell I only have a few left. That's how it comes. 165% more absorbed by your body because it's in a microgel and not a pill. Healthycell.com/Wendy. They're keepers. Keepers. I will say, as much as I love REM sleep from Healthy Cell, once you take Blood Flow 7, you sleep like a freaking boulder. You don't have to have it. So you can spend it on something else, like, I don't know, Immune Super Boost. Healthy Cell.
Getting less squawking from the peanut gallery about the tulip blooms in my man card.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, check your text message.
What's happening? Ooh. Oh my gosh, my husband is taking you. Wow.
Yeah. Did you see my response? Helps me feel the trigger better. I can really get a sense of the trigger.
He responded.
Yeah. I feel secure enough to use tulip blooms. I do.
You should feel
the handle of the
but no,
gun
seriously.
with the trigger.
Look at your cuticles afterwards.
Yeah, I know.
Look, you know how you get that white yucky cuticle and it's dry and cracky and bleh. Not anymore. Let me tell you about Morgane's Fitness. You know what? I'm not going to tell you. I'm going to show you. I love these people. This dude is freaking unreal. Look at his belly in the one, and then look at it on the second one. Before and after. Look at that. Look at that. That's crazy. Don't tell me that you can't take charge of your life. This dude lost 100 pounds of fat, 80 pounds of fat, 100 pounds of fat in 8 months.
That's nuts.
Look at that. Right? I have 5 kids, so I don't think my stomach's ever bouncing back to look like that. Even this woman, it's not the greatest display, but just look at the width of her back, right? You got the before on top and the afters on the bottom. Look at this. Just look at the sheer width of her. Like right here. Look at that. That's nuts. Kelly Morgan, Morgane's Fitness 90-day Ignite. That's all I'm going to say. Click the button, sign up for it. You're going to love it. People are losing literally 15 pounds of fat in 90 days. Wow, you're emailing him back or texting him back.
No,
Why are you taking the bait?
Okay. Because I know he's paying attention. Full disclosure, Joe, I'm going to read it.
Look, I'm not greasy.
Full disclosure, I grew my eyebrows. I sure as hell hope so while you're in there digging your ears too, probably. You're old.
What are you talking about?
Men get hair places. You're old. Trim your eyebrows and your ears.
Who says he doesn't trim his eyebrows?
He said he does.
He does.
I said root around your ears too. You're
He
hairy.
does.
You're old.
He does.
Yeah. Hey, and he said, we'll see how that trigger finger works. I'm ready. I know how I shoot. Real men have a soft side.
Let's see what it says on the back. Let's see. Velour massage oil is where softness meets intention.
Here, let me do the
The elegant botanical oil blend delivers a seamless massage glide while conditioning the skin with omega-rich seed oils and vitamin E. Lightweight, yet indulgent. It absorbs beautifully, leaving skin touchably soft, balanced, and glowing.
Look, I'm glowing.
Warm a small amount between hands and massage onto skin as desired. You're so bizarre. Tulipblooms.com. I'm just telling you, I've never talked about a product this much before, but I think it really is special.
I'm secure enough to wear tulip
gee
bloom. Have
whiz.
tulip bloom.
Seriously? Is this where we are?
I'm not grossing you up.
I didn't say that you were grossing
No,
me out.
Jolene said,
Oh.
stop it. I'm grossing around. Everybody with their comments.
See, look though. See, remember? Like I put it
Here,
on.
I'll put it on. Here.
Look
at me. I'm glowing.
It's so soft. And it's not greasy.
It is soft. It is.
Especially in the summertime months when you go outside, you got a little sun on your skin and
They
you're a
need a
little
cigar
dry. Put some of that on. Jeez.
Man,
What?
feels good on the trigger finger. That's all I'm saying.
Buy it for someone you love.
Or maybe someone
Joe.
with bushy eyebrows that needs to wash their hands too much.
He doesn't have bushy eyebrows. He overgrooms them. But he didn't overpluck them. I did when I was younger. I had like an eyebrow that started here.
He better never fall asleep around me. I'll shave him off.
2, 1. Wendy Bell, America's anchor mom, fighting for America 1 hour at a time. Welcome to the family. She once hosted a 3-hour show in just 15 minutes. She once intimidated the Electoral College to audit itself. Her monologues are so sharp, they're considered a concealed carry weapon. Fact-checker sites routinely issue her a retraction a week in advance. Even her commercial breaks trend on social media. Her freedom of speech has diplomatic immunity. She doesn't just drain the swamp has to ask for cab fare. Wendy Bell is the most interesting conservative woman on radio. Keep rumbling, my friends. 3 hours of bold truth and excellence. You've just signed up for the WBR Army. Strap in. This is the Wendy Bell radio program.
Welcome back. Hour number 3 of the Wendy Bell radio program is live. You know, resisting Donald Trump is, for a while, I just thought it was like this weird thing that was going on. And then, you know, I started to ask more questions. I saw more similarities among the kinds of people who were triggered by this man. And I didn't understand it. Like that, there's not one pivotal life force that I've come across that has triggered me to the point where I would celebrate their whatever assassination. I'm sorry. As much as I despise Hillary Clinton, as much as I think Bill Clinton is a scumbag, I wouldn't celebrate anything. People on the left will celebrate. They'll celebrate your suffering if you're MAGA. They'll celebrate your misfortune. Hell, they'll join together and they'll plot it out and execute it so that they can celebrate your misfortune. It's diabolical, but it's beyond that. There's got to be a diagnosable, truly, connection among these people, because it's not just hit or miss. It's not just here or there. It's a lot of places. Do you guys ever think about how many people have to be involved to steal an election or to manipulate ballots? Have you ever thought about that? I have. How many people have to be in on it? You have to have people on the ground level, either going out and erroneously filling out fake ballots, stuffing ballot boxes, transporting the ballots, allegedly counting the ballots, running the ballots through the machines all night long. right? Then you have to have people who lie about it, who divert the other people's attention from what's going on election day. You have to have a complicit media. You have to have judges who refuse to hear any of the evidence. Think about how many people on how many levels have to be connected for something as seemingly impossible as the theft of a presidential election to happen. Because that's what these people did. And to them, the job they did is noble. It is prideful. It's like the guy who was negotiating on behalf of Iran with Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner, being braggadocious about their nuclear capabilities, right? It's diabolical. It's got to be diagnosable. Well, I stumbled upon, and I wish the audio was better because I would have asked Brock to cut it up for me and I would have played it for you. But it's some undercover video, not like a Project Veritas, but similar. It's a hidden camera video of a Democrat ballot harvesting NGO and kind of like this mastermind guy named Joel Caldwell, who's caught on tape, undercover, I should say, admitting all of it. It happened in Atlanta, right? This is the State Farm Arena. This is where Shea Moss and Ruby Freeman, if I'm not mistaken, were all night long with those mail-in ballots that had no creases. 99% of them all went to Joe Biden. Everybody there doing it knew about it. Did nobody say anything? Did all of them believe screwing Trump, stealing the election was more important than anything else like that? How far gone do you have to be for that to be okay to you? Because that's not okay to me. Here's another new poll showing that America wants the SAVE Act. Look, I could read you this story about this guy. I'm going to give you a few of the details before I give you this poll because it's truly remarkable. This guy, Joel Caldwell, said that in Atlanta, they rigged the elections, including the 2020 election. So it's multiple elections. It's not just 2020, but this is what they do. It's standard operating. He said in 2020, it's what happened because that's when the ballots, they started stuffing them ballots and people stuffing them ballots and they got videotape of them, but nobody talks of it. That's why Trump was making that big deal about it because you see it on videotape. It's like, come on. We see the man pull up and put out 100 ballots in this box. You can't do that. So groups were paying people to do just that. Just drop off ballots. He says, yeah. He says, that's why Democrats fight to the death against voter ID laws. That's why the Republicans are always trying to fight the ballot. It's the argument of this whole thing. It's because Republicans, they're the ones who want voter ID. So this stuff doesn't happen. And Democrats, they're the ones fighting ID laws. So it's a two-sided thing. It's what they're fighting over. Republicans are trying to say like, hey, look, we got the proof that this crap is happening. And the Democrats are like, well, we don't want voter ID laws. All we want to do is go back to where you can drop your ballot off, online voting, different things that they try to come up with so that they can cheat and they can win. Well, he didn't say anything that you didn't already know. But what's it going to take to equate that statement and Democrats voting against the SAVE Act? Right? How are you not going to connect those people? If you vote against what the majority of America wants, then it can only be reasoned that you want to cheat. And you're so used to cheating that you're brazen about it. You don't even try to cover your tracks. You don't care anymore. You're the January 6th committee. Wait, what? I was supposed to save all the videotapes of all of the interviews that we had with people that I shared with freaking Fonnie Willis and what's his name, Alvin Bragg and Letitia James. What? I was supposed to save all of this and those terabytes of emails. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I didn't know that, said Benny Thompson, the walrus. It's right there in front of you. And they're brazen about it. They don't care that you know. Let's go on to this poll. Because this is one of those things where it's like, okay, reason 11D4 that, we need to pass this. The new poll, support for the Save America Act. This is a Harvard Caps Harris poll. When asked, strong support for the Save America Act. And when confronted with a trade-off, voters prioritize stopping fraud over access concerns. What do Democrats want you to believe? Well, some people aren't smart enough or don't have access enough to go have ID. Oh, now it's women. Women, oh my God, sister in a front on women. If you're married, what are you going to do? You're going to go back and find your birth certificate? Nobody knows what the birth certificate. This is outrageous. Vote no. Really? Well, because it's weird. 71% of all of these people here are asked, do you support or oppose the proposed Save America Act that would require proof of citizenship to register to vote, require voter identification, require states to remove non-citizens from their voter rolls, and require states to share unredacted voter rolls with the Department of Homeland Security. You shouldn't be hiding anything from us. If you're not cheating, show it. And this is what this act requires. 71% support, 29% oppose. 50% of Democrats support, 91% of Republicans support, 69% of independents. It's an overwhelming, not even close. But which of the following is more important? That we do everything possible to stop voter fraud and illegal immigrants from voting, or that eligible citizens aren't denied the ability to vote, which is not happening, right? Eligible citizens. Every eligible citizen in this country, 18 and over, is eligible, right? It's not a problem. 54% of voters said that we do everything possible to stop voter fraud and illegal immigrants from voting is more important than this nonsense mumbo jumbo that people in this country don't have the tools to go vote. It's embarrassing. That this is the question upon which the future of this country dangles in the balance. Right? And we're told that it's just too cumbersome. It's too onerous. I want you to hear. You know what, Brock? I'm going to punt on this one. I have a story about a Minneapolis Somalian man who, you know what? Shucks. What do you think, Brock? Do I include it? Do I skip it? What do you think? Because I'm trying to see how long it is here. It's about $1:43. Should I do it on the flip side when I come back? What do you think?
Why don't we do it on the flip side?
Okay. I want to talk to you about, because the simmering story, how many people had to be involved in the Somalian fraud? Just in the Somalian fraud. And then hyperspace that over to LA County, where they have more hospice, businesses than in anywhere in the United States combined in LA County. How many people have to be aware of this? How many people have to be involved who don't speak up? And then we're all curious about how we got a virus foisted upon the world, a virus that was fiddled with the Communist Chinese Party to make it more deadly for humanity. Like, in what world do you ever go back to the person who decided that that was the right thing to do and ever listen to anything they ever say? This derangement to do anything to stop Trump, to resist Trump, to thwart Trump, to plant a landmine in his path. It is diabolical. It must also be diagnosable. There's got to be a PhD project there somewhere. I can cherry pick some of the affected if we'd like to do a case study. Yeah, they're in my family. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, I want you to hear this report from Minneapolis. How brazen, how bold the theft was. One dude, 28, ripped us off for $6 million. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network.
I hope your significant other has rumbled, since he's obviously paying attention.
Do you think he has?
I don't know.
I hope so, because the
not.
numbers are awful.
They are. That's why
this
brought
is
it up.
embarrassing. Like, I really need your guys' help. We have 5,300 people. We don't even have 2,500 rumbles.
Yeah,
and
apparently Joe isn't helping, so we need you guys to rumble.
And we're down to the last 45 minutes of the show. And so I'm getting into this desperation mode. Where did we end yesterday? Did you see?
Over 3.
What?
Oh, you mean on the leaderboard?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I wasn't paying attention. Usually you tell me every morning
because my boyfriend Alan hooks me up.
Yeah.
How about I have a guy? Here we go. No, that's not it. Shucks. Oh, wait.
242. Come on.
All right, let me see. Hold on. I love it. This guy, his name is Alan, and he's so great. He sits there and he does all of these spreadsheets, which is so effective for me because if a new sponsor alert comes along and they're like, can you tell us how many people you get downloading your podcast on a weekly basis? Or can you tell us this or that? He's got it for us. Maybe not the podcast, but everything that has to do with Rumble. And he said we were number 6 yesterday. And then he finds out where you are in the like percentage, which is how many Rumbles do you have?
Yeah.
How much of that do you have versus how many views you have? And the higher that number is you're higher on the leaderboard, period. We were number 3 in the like percentage. And so he also sends me a screen grab. So how about this? Dan Bongino has 3.59 million people watch his show. Oh, follow. No. 723,000 views yesterday.
That's nuts.
We had 71,000. We had 1/10 of his viewership. But we had 9 times the interactions. He had 0.22. It's more than that. It's more like 15 times. He had a negative 0.22% like average. We had a 2.54. So 2.54 of all the people watching, yes. And he had a negative, and he blows us out with 10 times more people watching. That's your secret sauce. That's you guys.
Yeah.
That's it.
Oh,
So freaking Rumble.
Yeah, don't be Joe. Rumble.
It's the cute little thumbs up bubble underneath my magnificent, fabulous face, right?
Under my nice fingers.
And my
Yeah, look.
moisturized neck. I'm telling you, honestly, don't jag around.
No, I like it.
Okay. All right.
I'd like it more if you shared.
I just did. 2.53. Look, honestly, we need 470 people, and then I shut up, which is a benefit. I know. This was kind of a loosey-goosey.
It was a rough morning. Wait, you
Wow.
mean finding stories?
Yeah, what are you talking about?
Yeah. So my feeds, everything was either Iran, which the story's really not moving so much forward, right? Or Bill and Hillary. And I'm to the point now, I really don't care because they're just going to lie to you. And
Nothing's
Bill's going to
gonna
tell you,
happen.
Bill tells you, I've never lied under oath as he's lying under oath.
I've never done anything. And then their eyes are like this.
I would have. See, they couldn't put me in that room because they're like, okay, Bill, can you define the word is? That would be my
Wow.
first and only question.
What
That's
kind
it.
of cigar, Bill?
Yeah, I'd like to know what kind of rapper.
That's grody.
Poor Bill.
No.
He's married to Hillary.
Welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program. You know, Democrats have 246 days, and Republicans, until the midterms. And so they've launched Operation Stonewall. This isn't a real thing, but it actually is a real thing. It's to do whatever you can as slowly, as laboriously, as though you are running through oatmeal. That's how quickly we're going to respond to subpoenas. That's how quickly we're going to respond to requests from DHS or what have you. We're just not going to, la. I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. You needed something, right? That's the deal, because they need as many illegal aliens to vote as possible in November. It's a fact, and you know it as well as I do. Well, now it appears that Tim Walz is accused of stonewalling this key probe as the Somali fraud sweeps his state. Apparently, the Minnesota governor's staff has not turned over documents concerning fraud that were subpoenaed by a congressional committee in September of 2020 freaking 4. Okay? How is that okay? Why is that allowed? Where is the freaking accountability? These are all valid questions, of course, that the media do not ask. It's so weird, isn't it? I want you to hear this report. I like this guy. His name is Lou Raguse. He is an investigative journalist from one of the stations in Minneapolis. And he's talking about how absolutely easy it was for young people from freaking Somalia to create these autism fronts, bring in everybody in the universe into it, tell everybody that you're now autistic, give them a few bucks, pay them off, and then bounce with $6 million of Minneapolis taxpayer dollars. Really? Here's the report.
$6 million in taxpayer money stolen by a supposed autism clinic, and the company's owner just pleaded guilty. Abdi Najid Yusuf, only 28 years old, was the CEO of Star Autism Center in St. Cloud. He's the second man charged with defrauding Minnesota's autism programs. I was at his court hearing.
How much of the $6 million did you keep for yourself? How much are you going to be able to pay back?
Yusuf and what he describes as investors ran the scheme for 4 years while they claimed to help kids with autism. In reality, Star Autism hired family members as young as 18, totally unqualified to work there. They recruited Somali families to enroll their kids. And if the kids didn't have an autism diagnosis, Star Autism fraudulently got those diagnoses. Those families then received a kickback, also paid for with taxpayer money. Some of the reimbursements they turned in were blatantly fraudulent. Yusuf claimed one employee provided 430 hours of autism services in a single month, and another provided autism services 270 consecutive days without a day off. He also claimed one worker gave 23 hours of services in a single day and 22 and a half hours of services on another day. Yusuf spent $100,000 of taxpayer money on a Freightliner semi-truck and sent another $200,000 to Kenya. Although the estimated amount of fraud within the EIDBI or autism programs in Minnesota is astounding, only 2 people have been charged so far, Yusuf and Asha Hassan. Now both of them have pleaded guilty. When asked by the judge if those investors will be indicted, the prosecutors said yes.
Are you going to testify against the other defendants?
Yusuf is likely looking at about 5 years in prison when he's sentenced.
2, when he gets bounced for good behavior, or even like who knows how long. So somebody's submitting documents to the state for reimbursement for autism services that were not being rendered by people who were not professionals to people who don't have autism, who don't exist. They were saying that they were working 430 hours a month. You guys know a full-time job is about 160 to 180 hours. So you mean to tell me that people were lying and saying that they were working the equivalent of 2.5 full-time jobs and nobody caught that? I mean, honestly.
Are you trying to say they weren't dedicated to their job?
Oh my God.
I mean, come on.
This is ridiculous. Tim Walz's administration, this is Alpha News. This is Liz Collin and her outfit. And I trust her. She's great. Tim Walz's administration is actively stonewalling a congressional probe into welfare fraud, the House Education and Workforce Committee said in a Monday letter obtained by the Daily Caller News Foundation. The Minnesota governor's staff has not turned over documents the committee subpoenaed in September 2024 concerning fraud amid a scandal over Feeding Our Future, a nonprofit that defrauded the government of $300 million in COVID relief funds meant for needy children. Right? Walz's administration responded to the House Committee's 2024 subpoena with incomplete documents that excluded text messages between the governor and his staff. And the committee is now also asking for records of communications related to his handling of congressional requests. Walz's office, shocker, did not respond to requests for comment. It's Project Stonewall. Operation Slow Walk. Do whatever you can. This is your way to resist. Do not comply. Do not respond. Respond with half-truths and a lack of data. Don't show your work. It's racist, right? It's a complete cacophony of Democrats suck crybaby strategy. And it's costing us. And you have a president who doesn't just want to be reactive. He wants to be proactive, preemptive to stop this shite from happening. When we come back, you got to hear Pete Hegseth. I went long, but we're going to start with Pete Hegseth, Secretary of War. His own missile in the Pentagon press room. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. Where are all the arrests? Where's the change? If you can get away with it, why wouldn't you lie under oath? When is the last time you ever heard somebody being charged with or tried for perjury? Put your hand on the Bible. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth so help you God? I do. I state your name. I state your name. Do solemnly swear, right? That's it. Well, if that doesn't matter, if that oath doesn't matter, then isn't everything just performative? Isn't everything like the Chappaqua Performing Arts Center? Isn't everything talking to a vacuous, non-listening audience? Like Marco Rubio yesterday. They were like, it was like Terry Moran or anybody who's interviewed the president or anybody else. If you go in with a list of questions, I guarantee you're not going to be hearing the answers. How do you go in with questions? The president called in here and he talked to us for what, 14 minutes? Yeah. Something like that. Do you know what I didn't have? A list of questions. I had no idea what I was going to ask the man. But if you listen to somebody's answer, all you need is a good first question. And mine was, my man, what took so long? I've been sitting here waiting. And he answered and he giggled. And then he's like, I'm a little bit busy, but you know. And I was like, what are we doing with these January 6ers, Mr. President? And then that opened the door.
Who wants to see Wendy get angry?
Why would we want to do that? Why? That's terrible.
Look at the tweet I just sent you. 2 of them.
Oh, wait, you just did because I've got Joe here.
She's going to need the massage oils tonight to calm down.
Ireland Contracting, I got 2 more sponsors to tell you about. And sometimes it's the best for last. Ireland Contracting, if you're in a predicament where you need some help and you're in southwestern Pennsylvania, call 1-800-NEW-ROOF if whatever you need renovated is on the outside of your home. Your roof, if you need a new roof, Ireland Contracting is an Owen Corning Platinum Preferred dealer, top 1% of all roofers for Owens Corning. Like, that's big. That's big. This is a mom and pop shop. Big, top 1%. They are a window dealer. They've got double hung vinyl, wood, casement, everything you want. If I'm not mistaken, it's Pella. I don't know what they have. They've got all sorts of stuff, right? New siding changes your whole house. Put on some new siding, even just one wall, one face of it with some siding. So cool. Beadboard siding. Gutters, downspouts, not sexy, but they prevent your house from flooding. I can tell you that, right? Soffit and fascia, kind of important, especially if you've got critters living up in yours. Maybe you want to put in a skylight or a sun tunnel. Bing, bing, bing. 1-800-NEW-ROOF, IrelandContracting.com. I love them. So, I'm trying to drink I'm not a big water person. And because I'm drinking Dr. Gundry and something else now during the day, as I'm trying my new regimen to see if I'm going to share it with you guys. My goal is I drink my coffee, but I have to get through this whole thing before the end of the show. And I'll tell you, I did it yesterday and I was not even remotely hungry until about 5 o'clock. The stuff works. Oh, snap. I just dropped it all over the place. Squished it. One of those things, as we are walking through cold and flu season, it is what it is. One of the greatest ways to protect yourself and your family is by making just one purchase. I personally would advise you, since shipping is no cost to you, I would get this bottle of Sniper and I would also get the 5-gallon refill. Because you're what?
I think it's just a gallon.
I mean, a gallon. It's 5 pounds. I beg your pardon. My bad. You're right. This changes your life in that you spray it on surfaces that are that you've been cooking on that are heavily trafficked, frequently trafficked.
That you think are clean.
That you think are clean and aren't. Obviously, your bathroom, anything in your kitchen, any of the knobs or handles, surfaces, countertops. But this is what I love about it. If you have kids who play sports and they come home with sporting equipment that smells like death, you've got an area that you put them, spray them with this. You don't have to wipe it down. You don't have to worry about it injuring or damaging any of the materials because that's not what it does. It's so safe. You can spray it in your mouth. I sometimes go like this. It's that safe. And I do love the fresh smell of it. It leaves this fresh, just cleaned, but never fragranty smell. And so you walk into an environment that you've used this and you're like, how you doing? Best thing you'll ever have in your house. And you'll notice something very special. You just don't get sick anymore. I don't know what it is. God, I got to do it again. Don't want to get sick. Tomorrow I'll be like,
Get those filters.
yes.
Oh, here we go.
Radio program. As always, I enjoy this time with you so much. We get to talk about a lot, and if you like what you hear, wendybellradio.com. I hope you follow us. So Pete Hegseth, Secretary of War, said something very interesting yesterday, and this is in the Pentagon press room. And I believe he's got Dan Raisin Kane, General of the Joint Chiefs, with him. If it's not him, it's some other muckety muck. But here's the Secretary of War, and he's talking about as much as he can talk about. It's an attack, right? Operation Epic Fury. It's an attack. You're not privy to the details. You don't have a right to know and need to know. This is why we have elections that we believe in, right? That is why we're all fighting so hard, as it seems like, what did John Thune just do, Brock? What did you just put out there? He's decided to do what? Send everybody on vacation?
Yeah, but keep it open for that, pro temp or whatever. What they do to keep it going so it's not closed.
Leader Thune's going to send the Senate on vacation despite Department of Homeland Security being defunded and the Save America Act lying on his desk. Instead of recessing, he'll have a few members hold pro forma sessions to keep Trump's recess appointments out. Oh, fantastic. What a leader. What a leader. See, we're supposed to vote for the candidates that we like, and the majority is supposed to win. And that's not how the system works anymore, Senator. So we'd prefer if you kept your ass where it needs to be and do your job and pass the freaking SAVE Act. Enough with your housing nonsense. Oh, we're going to talk about this housing. Oh, we're going to have some pet parade where we're all going to bring our pets. Hey, John Thune, suck it. From a beleaguered, annoyed America, allow me to speak for the majority of us. Pass the freaking SAVE Act. Call out the idiots who won't go for it. Start embarrassing these people, you little willow. Such a gentleman, so neat, so prim and proper, with no huevos. None. Pete Hegseth, let's hear what he said yesterday. He's asked about an extended conflict in Iran. It's like, Secretary, can you please look into your crystal ball and work your magic and tell us what's going to happen? It's like, who do you think you are, media? And this is where he drops it. Remember, he was one of them. He knows who these people are. He's worked with them at Fox News. He's like, no, that's not how this game works. It's brilliant.
Any American boots on the ground in Iran?
No, but we're not going to go into the exercise of what we will or will not do. I think it's one of those fallacies for a long time that this department or presidents or others should tell the American people, this, and our enemies, by the way, here's exactly what we'll do. Here's exactly how long we'll go. Here's exactly how far we'll go. Here's what we're willing to do and not do. It's foolishness. And so President Trump ensures that our enemies understand we'll go as far as we need to go to advance American interests. But we're not dumb about it. You don't have to roll 200,000 people in there and stay for 20 years. We've proven that you can achieve objectives that advance American interests without being foolish about it. Now, will we be bold about it? Are we willing to be decisive about it? Do we put months and months of planning into what kind of effects we want to achieve? Absolutely. But going forward, why in the world would we tell you, the enemy, anybody, what we will or will not do in pursuit of an objective? We fight to win. We fight to achieve the objectives the President of the United States has laid out, and we will do so unapologetically. Thank you.
Yeah, Mr. Secretary, this just in, breaking news. The media want you and this administration and therefore America to fail. To fail. That's the derangement. That's what I don't understand. If that desire to resist and hate one man supersedes your desire to live peacefully, to prosper, to watch your children live in harmony, in freedom, in peace, you've got something wrong. You've got something really wrong. And we do in this country, ladies and gentlemen. I want to share this story because it's going to, Jen Psaki, circle us all the way back to the opening monologue, where I told you that Melania Trump, First Lady, she presided over the UN Security Council meeting, a 2-hour meeting. She used some of her time to talk about children, to talk about what she believes is the biggest atrocity. It's the abuse of children, whether they be trafficked, for labor, trafficked, and raped. It's got to stop. Maybe we could stop it in the schools first. Wouldn't that be swell? Because it's obviously a problem. Here's a headline they don't want you to know about. Did you hear about the Los Angeles Unified School District? Right? Pretty big school district in this country. These are the people who made all of their students get vaccinated, wear masks, all that nonsense. How's that working for you? They need more money, guys. They need money. Not for equipment, not for the pensions, not for anything like that. Because they need more money to pay off the settlements of the teachers accused of sexual assault. I'm sorry? LAUSD, LA Unified School District, tabs $250 million more for sex abuse settlements. And it's kind of presented in this sort of blasé, ho-hum. Yeah, in other news, before the commercial break, the Los Angeles Unified School District Board has signed off on another $250 million in-judgment obligation bonds to cover sexual misconduct settlements on top of roughly $500 million approved less than a year ago. Say what? That pushes LA Unified School District's authorized borrowing for these cases to about $750 million. And district projections show that once financing costs and interest are added, we'll just round up. It'll just be another zero, whatever. It'll be a cool $1 billion that California taxpayers will be on the hook for. $1 billion, not to get iPads, not to do some kind of new way. We're going to do some kind of new way of teaching where we stop trying to indoctrinate and groom people and we go back to, I don't know, the basics, right? We're going to spend money on that. Okay. Now, the fresh debt comes as the district faces a surge of historical abuse claims fueled by recent state law changes. The board's unanimous vote allows administrators to issue judgment obligation bonds. It's kind of a long-term debt the school district can tap as a settlement. As settlement checks come due. How many freaking kids have gotten molested in the Los Angeles Unified School District? And where are the parents? Where's the headlines? Where's the media? Are there going to be more boots on the ground? Is this going to be a protracted problem? Did he go into the War Powers Act? How about we talk about something important first? Kids. Adam Carolla, again, not on my card, comedian, truth teller, talking about the abomination of this particular news story and sort of the crickets of the mainstream media.
There was this big thing with the LAUSD school board where there's like $1 billion. They're constantly being sued because they have these pedophile teachers and they can't get rid of them because the union, the school board union, the teachers union is so powerful that they literally can't fire horrible teachers and ones that get caught in pedophilia. So they take them and they shift them to the neighborhoods where the people don't complain, like speak Spanish mostly, and the kids, mom and dad work all day. They literally take the teachers and they ship them off to where the poor people are.
Like the Catholic Church used to send bad priests to Arizona.
Right. And then they continue, except for now with people that can't lawyer up sort of situation. But I'll play you the clip, the news clip, and then I'll tell you my solution.
Okay.
The LA Unified School Board is borrowing another $250 million in bonds to settle claims of sexual misconduct. These latest bonds are in addition to the $500 million authorized less than a year ago. This is according to the LA Times. The extra money is needed because of a bill that extended the statute of limitations for filing civil lawsuits regarding childhood sexual abuse. The total cost, including financing, is expected to exceed $1 billion. The money will be paid out of the district's general fund over the next decade or so.
By the way, I love that notion that we just got to raise taxes so we can cover all these expenses. Like, how about we reel it in a little with the molestation and the lawsuits and the, bullet train to nowhere and the fraud and the daycares and all of that. How about we tighten our belt a little bit instead of asking everyone for more money every 10 seconds?
Well, now that's an idea. But this just in, Gavin Newsom endorses Karen Bass for LA mayor. I believe in her, he says. Oh, okay, well then I guess that's good. Okay, enough said. Why on earth? Now, if you've asked yourself 7 million ways from Sunday, how's it possible for these people in California to keep voting in the same clowns, the same deviants, the same despicable idiots? What if they don't? What if they haven't been? What if they aren't? Oh, I don't know. That's kind of why we wanted the SAVE Act to pass. This is one of those things that I might chew on sometimes at night. It's like, okay, maybe we can get together on this. Oh, right. So $1 billion passed on to the taxpayers because people can't stop molesting children in one school district. And the union is so freaking strong that there's no way to break through it. And we scratch our heads and wonder, now, why was it again that one of Donald Trump's objectives, top 20 objectives, right, on agenda47.com, one of them was to dismantle the Board of Education? Why ever would that be? Oh, I don't know. Maybe because it doesn't work. And this president sees, same way he sees Iran. He sees what's going on in your backyard. The one guy who wants to fix it all, that they hate. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, let's tie this one up in a bow, shall we? The president awards 3 medals of honor. Yesterday's ceremony was awesome. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. Well, it seems we have a new sponsor that's interested in us. I just found out from our guy at Rumble, my pimp.
I didn't get an alert.
Rumble, no. Wow. No, he sends it to me during the show, which is fantastic. I love that. But Brock, you're going to think it's very wild. If I'm reading it right, it has to do with red light therapy.
Really?
Yes. Mm-hmm. I know. Hold on. I just went out into the sun. Oh, it's a little hot out there. Can you imagine $1 billion? Where's the outrage? Where's everybody? Where's everybody? Like, what the hell are we doing? What are we doing? I don't know. I had multiple people send me this yesterday about the president and these phenomenal heroes. And I saw it was like a 30-minute ceremony, and I did not watch it, but I want to read some of this in advance. So, Brock, you can chatter with people if you don't.
Well, I want to know about this sponsor.
I did too.
What? Was left out again. I now swear by that red light therapy. If you're even thinking about red light therapy, I swear.
Well, you went like this, and that means
no.
don't.
I swear by it. Like,
oh, okay, because you're giving conflicting signals.
I'm thinking about giving it to the dog.
Really?
That's who started telling me about it was Dr. Mike.
Best vet in the world.
Yeah.
Because he's mine.
He's mine first.
Yes, he was. In fact, he was. All right, we are so limping. I need 300 people. Can you please help push us to 3,000? This is the final push. If you haven't found that little bubble underneath the video box, if you see the red button that says Wendy Bell Radio Army, WBR Army, it's just a hop, skip, and a jump to the east of that. 2.7, it says.
It would
17.
feel so good once you put your tulip blooms on. Hit that.
Tulip blooms.
Yeah.
You guys, this is it. The velour massage oil. Whether you use it for massage or you use it for your skin.
I wonder if it would work on my feet. My feet
I said
get
that.
dry and cracky.
Yes, I do. I put this on and then I put socks on.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And then I take the socks off when I go to bed, or else it's, how you doing? And Joe's like, I love when you do that.
Socks to bed.
It's like when I wear pajama pants. It's so attractive. Big hoodie. I know. I'm like, I know. Like cream all over my face. Now, yes, you could put that socks on and then take off your socks as you climb into bed. And you feel it in your sheets. You're like,
what, in your Cozy Earth sheets?
In my Cozy Earth sheets. They'll come back. See, I've got a whole diabolical plan.
Yeah.
My goal is to make you healthy. Like, look, we can't fix how we age, right? Like, we're going to get old. I'm going to get wrinkles. We're all going to have shite happen like that, right? However, we can take care of our gut. We can take care of our health. We can take care of other things and our skin and our hair and all of these things. We can lose weight. We can make sure we get enough sleep. We can get exercise. We can take blood flow 7 so we can go further than we ever thought. Alpha Gold Male is the same thing, but it's for dudes, for testosterone. Right.
Regiment.
Is sexy, but is perhaps the most important of the day. Welcome back to the Wendy Bell Radio program. I'm going to get you the headline here from Breitbart.com. I wish that this was more front and center. President Trump awards 3 medals of honor at White House ceremony. President Trump awarded the medals, the nation's highest military decoration, 3 medals of honor at a White House ceremony yesterday. He awarded the Medal of Honor to Army Master Sergeant Roderick W. Edmonds for saving hundreds of American Jewish soldiers in World War II. Army Command Sergeant Major Terry P. Richardson for saving nearly 100 lives in Vietnam. And Army Staff Sergeant Michael H. Ollis for giving his life to save a Polish ally in Afghanistan. Edmonds and Ollis's medals were bestowed posthumously. Nazis captured Edmonds and his unit in the Battle of the Bulge, taking them as prisoners of war on December 19th, 1944. After 1,200 non-commissioned officers, including Edmonds, were transferred to Germany, where they were held prisoner, an officer on January 26, 1945, ordered that only Jewish Americans in the camp were to fall out during roll call the next day, and those who failed to abide by the order would be killed. With 200 Jewish Americans in the camp, Edmonds ordered all 1,200 Americans fall out, enraging the Nazi commandant, as the U.S. Army notes. The commandant once again demanded only prisoners who were Jewish be present. Edmonds boldly held his ground and recounted the rights afforded all prisoners under the Geneva Convention. Enraged, the commandant pressed his pistol against Edmonds' forehead and violently demanded that only Jewish Americans step forward or he would be shot immediately. Without regard for his life, Edmonds fearlessly stood his ground and refused, warning the commandant executing him would lead to prosecution for war crimes after the war. The commandant lowered his weapon and returned to his quarters. Chris Edmonds accepted the Medal of Honor on behalf of his father, who died in 1985. Today, your father gets the honor he so courageously earned, Trump said. Richardson is credited with saving 85 lives throughout his courageous acts during a reconnaissance mission in the Vietnam War. The U.S. Army details it during a reconnaissance mission between Loc Ninh and the Cambodian border on September 14th, 1968. Think about these men. Think about these men. His unit was engaged by intense automatic weapons and small arms fire from the North Vietnamese Army Battalion. Richardson maneuvered through a hail of hostile rounds and deployed his men into defensive positions while directing their suppressive fire. During the attack, he dragged 3 wounded soldiers back to safety. With his platoon surrounded, he realized the only way they would avoid being overrun was with accurate tactical airstrikes. Richardson made his way up Hill 222 undetected to call in tactical airstrikes from a shallow irrigation ditch with only rubber trees for cover. Once up the hill, he realized that the enemy force was a large regiment base complex of the North Vietnamese Army. And speaking directly to the pilots, Richardson began calling in the airstrikes. An hour in, he was shot in the right leg by a North Vietnamese Army sniper. He continued guiding the pilots for 7 more hours, calling in approximately 32 airstrikes until the enemy retreated. His action saved 85 lives. Trump said that pinned down in hell on earth, Terry summoned unimaginable courage, going on to add, Terry, today, you entered the ranks of the bravest warriors ever to stride the face of the earth. And during a terrorist attack on August 29th or 8th, 2013, on the forward operating base in Ghazni, Afghanistan, this gentleman, Alice, ordered fellow soldiers to move to bunkers for protection before rushing towards the enemy and locating Polish second lieutenant on the way, as the U.S. Army details. Upon reaching the attack point, these 2 gentlemen joined other friendly forces and began a coordinated effort to repulse the enemy from the airfield and adjacent buildings. And while under continuous fire, Alice and the others moved from position to position, engaging the enemy. While fighting along the perimeter, an insurgent came around a corner and immediately engaged with them with small arms fire. With complete disregard for his own safety, Alice positioned himself between the insurgent and the Polish officer who was wounded and unable to walk. Alice fired on the insurgent and incapacitated him. But as he approached, the insurgent's suicide vest detonated, killing Alice. His parents, Robert and Linda Alice, accepted the Medal of Honor on behalf of their son from the president. Nobody was any more brave than that. In his final act on earth, Michael absorbed the blast, sparing the life of that Polish warrior, Trump said. You have a president who's not only preemptive and proactive for future generations so that they may live without fear of the threats of nuclear terror, but also with one foot firmly in the past, remembering the heroes who did what they did so that you and I could sit here today and talk about it. I don't know about you, but I voted for that. And I'm damn glad Donald J. Trump is my president. Thank you so much for being a part of our program today. It has been jam-packed, and we're going to do it all over again tomorrow. 21 hours from now, what are you going to be doing? Why don't you bring a friend, hang out for a while? It'll be hump day anyway, right? Have a great day, everyone. Love you. Peace.